All right, then praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yah by way of Yahushua HaMashiach. Henry, what you eating, man? Come on over here and sit down, Henry. John 5:39. Come over here and sit down, Henry.
Search the scriptures, for in them ye think ye have eternal life, and there they will testify of me. And ye will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you that ye have not the love of Alahym in you. I come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another should come in his own name, him ye will receive. How can ye believe which receive honor one from another, and seek not the honor that cometh from Alahym only?
All right, let's look at 2 Chronicles chapter 20 and verse 26 of this last little thing. Who remember that first person Jehoshaphat joined himself to that he ain't had no business fooling with? You don't know who that is? Yeah. Who that was then? Because they ain't helping us out.
The King of Israel. What?
Yeah, well, I mean, that kind of narrows it down now, doesn't it? You don't know his name?
He got killed. It wasn't Ahab.
It was Ahab.
Yeah, okay.
So he joined himself to Ahab, and then he's going to join himself to somebody else, and that's going to get himself in trouble. Go ahead. Verse 26, 2 Chronicles 20 and 26.
2 Chronicles 20
and 26.
It said, and on the fourth day they assembled themselves in the valley of Berakah, for there they blessed Yahuwah. Therefore the name was of the same place was called the valley of Berakah unto this day. Then they returned, to every man of Yehuda and every man of Jerusalem, Jehoshaphat in the forefront of them, to go into Jerusalem with joy. For Yahuwah had made them to rejoice over their enemies.
Now pause. We're going to look at something as a forerunner. He said they rejoicing over their enemies. So go ahead and get me Jeremiah 33 and 6. And then after that, Revelation 19 and 1. Jeremiah 33 and 6.
It said, behold, I will bring it health and cure, and I will cure them, and will reveal unto them the abundance of shalom and truth. And I will cause the captivity of Yehuda and the captivity of Yasharal to return, and will build them as at the first. And I will cleanse them from all their iniquity, whereby they have sinned against me, and I will pardon all their iniquities whereby they have sinned, and whereby they have transgressed against me. And it shall be to me a name of joy, a praise and honor before all nations of the earth, which shall hear all the good I do unto them, and they shall fear and tremble for all the goodness and for all the prosperity that I procure unto it. Thus says Yahuwah again, there shall be heard in this place which ye say shall be desolate, without a man, without a beast, even in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem that are desolate, without man and without inhabitant and without beast. And the voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, the voice of the bride, the voice of them that shall say, praise Yahuwah of hosts, for Yahuwah is good, for his mercy endures forever. And of them that shall bring the sacrifice of praise into the house of Yahuwah, for I will cause to return the captivity of the land as at the first, says Yahuwah.
That's cool, right? I want you to go back to 2 Chronicles 20, because you need to set the stage of why they rejoicing and why the land quiet. Go to verse 15. 2 Chronicles 20 and verse 15.
And he said, hearken ye all Yehuda and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and thou King Jehoshaphat. Thus said Yahuwah, unto you be not afraid nor dismayed. Be not afraid nor dismayed.
Why?
By reason of this great multitude. For this battle is not yours, but Alahym.
Now let's sit back again. Like I say, we're looking at the parallels of what happened in the split. There's a great battle. You got Ammon and Moab and Edom. So let's look at Revelation 17 and 1. Not 17 and 1. Make it about verse 5. Revelation 17 and 5. Because he just told him the battle is Alahym's, it's not yours. It'd be a lot of stuff that you feel like you got to fight it versus that he got to fight it. when this stuff go down, it's gonna be a lot of niggas feel like they gotta fight when it's y'all's battle to fight and not yours. Go ahead.
And upon her forehead was the name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw
She was
her,
drunk with what?
the blood of the saints and the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the Malachim said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and the beast that carrieth her, which have the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life of the foundation of the world. When they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. And here is the mind which hath wisdom.
Go ahead.
The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sit. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short time. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast.
Go ahead.
These have one mind.
They got one what?
One mind.
And just like Egypt, Ammon, and Moab had one mind. Go ahead.
And they shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Yahuwah, or Lord of lords, Master of masters, and Malachim of Malachim. And they that are with him are called, chosen, and faithful.
There's a reason for that. Go to Zechariah 14:1. Because we ain't going to read Revelation 12, but it states how the dragon will be coming after, what you call that? How the dragon will be coming after the woman and after her seed and trying to kill him and do all this here. Because you know, with most dudes, they feel like they got to be able to fight this battle. Like dudes be like, why we don't got our own police force? Why we ain't got all these armies? Why we ain't got this? And the thing, what Chronicle gonna go in and you supposed to be relying on y'all. You think you can save yourself? You're not gonna be able to save yourself. He got us. Niggas worrying about what North Korea gonna do. Like they say North Korea done tried a missile. See, it can reach over here now. I care less where it reach. You know what I'm saying? That's Asian on white crime. That's Asian white people problems. You know what I'm saying? That ain't got nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all know it was well reported during Vietnam that them Asian people told black people to go home. You know what I'm saying? That this war ain't got nothing to do with you. We ain't got no problem with you. You know what I'm saying? At the same token though, they don't like you either though. You know what I'm saying? They'll call you a nigga quicker than a white person will. They just usually call you a nigga in their language. You know what I'm saying? But if you was to go to New York City, walk through Chinatown, they'll call you a nigga. They only want to mess with you because you spend your money with them. Like if we ain't spend no money with these people, they probably been exterminated. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, these people don't care for you. Don't nobody care for you but your God, and you don't care for him. Go ahead.
Zechariah 14.
And 1.
Behold, the day of Yahuwah cometh, and thy spoils shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses...
This is the same thing you see in the Chronicles, that all these people coming together to battle against Jerusalem. Go ahead.
And the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished. And the half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall Yahuwah go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought.
He'll do what?
He will fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle.
Now, didn't it just say here in Chronicles that the battle is not yours? Now, come back and look at verse 16 in the 2 Chronicles 20. Because we got to go back and deal why they rejoicing, and then why y'all would be kind of perturbed with Jehoshaphat on what he did after that fact. You know what I'm saying? Because there's examples of a couple other kings that we going to see that Yah saved them, and then they went backwards and went to fooling with transgressors. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to convert nobody, but making league with them. Because remember, he had already told Jehoshaphat, why are you helping the ungodly? And why do you love those that hate Yah? You know what I'm saying? He told him you'll have wars because of this. And this is why he's having a war with Ammon, Egypt and Moab, because it already came through. Or why were you fooling with Ahab? You supposed to not even went around here. You supposed to let Ahab go up there and get killed. This ain't had nothing to do with you. Go ahead, man.
2 Chronicles 20, verse 15.
Verse 16.
It says, tomorrow go ye against them. Behold, they come up by the cliff of Ziz, and ye shall find them at the end of the brook, before the wilderness of Urel.
Listen to what he say right here. Look at what he tell you in verse 17, though.
Ye shall not need to fight in this battle.
You shall not need to what?
Fight in this battle.
Now I ask a question. When the master come back, are we going to be fighting in this battle? Let's look at the epistle of Jude, man, probably about verse 6, and let's see who's going to be fighting in this battle. Because you ain't going to have to fight nothing. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to be fighting nothing. Daniel tell you that when the man come back, he going to defeat the man of sin without hand. He'll be broken without hand. You ain't going to have to do nothing but sit back and watch. Doesn't Revelation say the world, everybody will wail and holler because of him? You think you going to be fighting and niggas falling on the ground hollering and screaming? Revelation tell you that people going to be hiding up on the rocks. Talking about hide us from this man. They ain't hiding from you. Why would they be hiding from you when they have been slaughtering you? You know what I'm saying? That's why I was telling y'all last night, right? Like, it's not tangible because you're not being killed for it yet. Like when he tell you that Kadeshim will be killed and the beast of it's not real because ain't nobody killing you for the word. And niggas in the word try to take Jacob's trouble and mean because they killing black people because they hate black people. That's what the book talking about. Nobody's getting killed. As sad as it sounds, man, that brother who got choked out in New York about them tapes a while back, he didn't get killed for the word. He got killed because he was black. You know what I'm saying? That dude that got shot in Louisiana by the police, he didn't get killed for the word. He got killed because he was black. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother scenario. He got killed because they hate you. How many people you know of actually got killed for the word? You ain't never heard of nobody got shot in his face for preaching the word. Police ain't shot nan nigga for preaching the word. You know somebody got shot preaching the word? Where? Hey man, it's rare. It happens. I know it happened overseas. You know, in I think the Netherlands and Sweden, it's against the law to preach against homosexuality. You go to jail for it. You know what I'm saying? If you standing on the corner with a Bible preaching the word, you go to jail for it. Well, at least preaching against homosexuals. They say you can't preach against the pillow biters and rump rangers. They got a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? And that ain't made its way over here in America yet. Not yet. It's kind of like that now because, you know, you could get in trouble if you talk about homosexuals. Just try to call you all type of things. It's like I was just looking at something. They're trying to push that on you to make you accept it. Not necessarily that you want to be gay, but that you accept that. You know what I'm saying? They want you to...
That's not wrong.
Yeah, that it's not wrong. Or that if you say you don't agree with it, then you feel shame of speaking against it. You know what I'm saying? They don't have no problem if you're an adulterer or a whoremonger. They ain't got no problem with that. You can do that all day long, but they want you to be accepted. And I think the only next step after that is accepting pedophilia. To make you think it's cool with it. Because some of the excuses I heard for Africa Bambaataa touching on young boys, and them boys knew he was doing it for 20 plus years, was ridiculous. I know, you know who that is? Yeah, that nigga nasty nigga, man. The same way they were talking about, you know, niggas like somebody say, well, why don't nobody point out R. Kelly, but they won't point out Hugh Hefner. Why we care about Hugh Hefner? Them white women. You know what I'm saying? That's white on white problems. That ain't got nothing to do. Why am I concerned with a white man doing with white women? That's not my people. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because white people weren't concerned with none of our people getting high on drugs. That wasn't their concern. We were concerned with it. Now when they people get high on heroin, now they want us to be concerned with it. I'm not concerned with what your people do. You know what I'm saying? And truth be told, there's nothing wrong with that. Before you worry about somebody else, you got to worry about your own. I can't be worried about Hugh Hefner sleeping with 17, 18-year-old girls. The question is, why white people ain't have a problem with him doing it? You know what I'm saying? We have a problem with R. Kelly doing it. We're not cool with him peeing on young girls. We don't like it. We don't appreciate it. You know what I'm talking about? They don't have no problem with what Hugh Hefner doing it. I don't care what Hugh Hefner do. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't even know who he is, really. You know who he is? Like, you really know who he was.
Playboy dude.
Yeah, he been doing it for years, man. Playboy been out since the 60s, if I'm not mistaken. I know the dude who started Penthouse was just as nasty as he was. Go ahead, man.
Jude.
Yeah, Epistle of Jude, verse 6.
It says, and the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he has reserved in everlasting chains under darkness until the judgment of the great day. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah, and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over unto fornication, and going after strange flesh.
I just want y'all to keep that in mind about Sodom and Gomorrah, because when y'all willing, we finna look at something where he described our people as Sodom and Gomorrah in great detail. Go ahead.
Who gave themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth as an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. Likewise, also, these filthy dreamers defile the flesh.
Now, if they say they're a filthy dreamer, what does he mean when he calling them a filthy dreamer? You know what he mean when he calling them a filthy dreamer?
Going after their own imagination.
To a certain, for a false prophet. Let's look at that. Jeremiah 23, probably about verse 17, if I'm not mistaken.
23?
Yeah, 23. Let me make sure that verse right. We need to be compact for time's sake. Oh, yeah, 23 and 26. Well, 23 and 25. Jeremiah 23 and 25. Golly, man.
I have heard what the prophet said, that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies?
Y'all ever been somewhere and y'all seen a dude talking about I haven't experienced personally. I've only seen it on television. You know what I'm saying? Or been told about it. So I can't speak on it directly. But I've seen dudes say, like, somebody come up and say, the Lord told me to tell you something. Or I had a dream about you, and the Lord told me to tell you something. This is the kind of stuff that what he talking about. The kind of stuff what we were talking about last night about the froward mouth. How the scribes perverted the word by interjecting their own thoughts and their own ways into what the word say to cause the people to go astray. Go ahead.
How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies? Yea, they are prophets of deceit of their own heart.
Of their own heart. It's a lot of people that preach the word out here, and that stuff coming out their own mind. It's not what the word. If you're prophesying out your own heart, you're really prophesying according to your emotions and your opinion. And most people, when you deal with them with the word, they don't really want to deal with what the word say. They want to deal with what they think or how they feel. You know what I'm saying? That's why I mentioned that when we had that conversation, dude talking about niggas ain't got the tools. You got the tools, you just don't want to use them. I can't give you a hammer, a wrench, you know what I'm saying, a saw, all this type of stuff where you can get all this stuff done, and then you don't want to do it, and then you trying to make an excuse and coddle a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be quick to say, boy, y'all did this and y'all did that, and that's just your stuff. That's what you wanted to do, and you just trying to put his name on it, and that's what that's what he's referring to here. Because the example of that is what that dude named Hananiah, when he came up and told him, oh, y'all ain't gonna be in captivity 70 years, you're only gonna be here 2. You know what I'm saying? That was a prophecy out your own heart. And dudes do that all the time. They teach you to rebel against the word to where you can go off and do what they want you to do. That man said you defiled when you do that. Go ahead.
It says, which think to cause my people to forget thy name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal.
That's what all them kings of Yasharal problem with, because they had those filthy dreamers or them prophets of Baal leading the people astray. Because you got to remember Jeremiah's during the time right before they go into captivity at Babylon, so he kind of overlapped with a lot of those kings that we reading about. Go ahead.
The prophet that hath a dream, let him tell a dream, and he that hath my word, let him speak my word faithfully.
You say if you got a lie, let him tell a lie.
What is the chaff of wheat, says Yahuwah? Is not my word like as a fire, says Yahuwah, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces? Therefore, behold, I am against the prophet, says Yahuwah, that steal my words, every one from his neighbor. Behold, I am against the prophet, says Yahuwah, that use their tongues and say, he said. Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, said Yahuwah, and do tell them, and cause my people to err by their lies and by their likeness. Yet I sent them not, nor commanded them, therefore they shall not profit this people at all, says Yahuwah.
Pause. So that's why you see there's not been a lot of gain amongst our people, whether they dealing with Hebrews or whether they dealing with Christians, because you telling lies, so you ain't getting no gain. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna allow you to get no gain. Some of y'all was in church for years and ain't get nothing from it. You know what I'm saying? Other than you were just there. You ain't gained nothing from it. Some of you done dealt with Hebrew niggas for years, ain't get nothing from it. It's some dudes still be dealing with One West and they still in the same spot they was in when I started this 8 years ago. Like, you know how crazy it is for me to see dudes that I know for 5, 6, 7 years, man, still arguing about that chart. You know what I'm saying? Why are you still arguing about that? Obviously the people who follow the chart, they ain't got no gain because they still talking about the same thing that they were talking about. So just let them know. Come on back to Jude though, man. Some people don't get no gain just because they just don't want to do right.
Likewise, also these filthy dreamers, we had verse 8 of Jude. It said, likewise, also these filthy dreamers defile the flesh, despise dominion, and speak evil of dignities.
That's exactly what Jeremiah just told you. Go ahead.
It says, yet Michael the archangel, when contending with the adversary, he disputed about the body of Moses, does not bring against him a railing accusation, but said, Yahuwah rebuke thee. But these speak evil of those things which they know not, but what they know naturally as brute beasts, and those things they corrupt themselves. Woe unto them, for they have gone in the way of Cain. They have ran greedily after error of Balaam for reward, and perished in the gainsaying of Korah.
That's three different things. See, look, what was the error of Cain? Who know what Cain's error was?
Kill the man without no reason.
No, that wasn't his error though. What'd you say, D? Now you know what Cain's error was? He was jealous. He was envious. That's what his error was. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, it's a lack of faith, and then killing somebody, but it was rooted in his jealousy and his envy. Because when he gave that sacrifice that was accepted, he was mad. You know what I'm saying? And then from that, he killed his brother. That's why he tell you in Galatians that the righteous have been the children of the spirit been persecuted by the children of the flesh, as it is this day. It's always happened like that because it's jealousy. That's why remember what the pilots say, I know that they delivered a Mashiach to me because of envy. They were jealous. Do you know what I'm saying? They wanted to be like him. Cain wanted to be like Abel, but he couldn't because his works weren't right, his heart wasn't right. So then he mentioned Balaam, and then the gainsaying of Korah. What got Korah cut off? Talking against a righteous man, standing up against a righteous man. So he was running down three different things to show you the attributes of a filthy dreamer or a natural brute beast that we could go back in the scriptures and see why he would say this. Because we know what the error of Cain was. Cain killed the man behind jealousy and envy. We know that Balaam ran after reward to give a prophecy that which you ain't have no authority to give, or which he didn't instruct you to give. That you let your desire and love for money trump what was right. And then you let Korah come in. I want to be the man, and I'm going to get a whole bunch of people to come up and take down the man who Yah set up because I want to be in his place. Huh? Yeah, you jealous too, of course. Because he say, how you come in it? Jealousy and envy is a horrible thing because it leads men to do. That's why he told you not to covet. You know what I'm saying? That's why Paul wrote in another place, he that minister, let him wait on his ministry. You know what I'm talking about? People be jealous and envy. That's all those scribes and Pharisees problem with the Mashiach was just jealousy and envy. You know what I'm saying? If he was talking along the lines of how they were talking and moving, how they were moving, the boy wouldn't have had a problem. Everything would have been smooth. But more people listening to him than they listening to me. It seemed like he doing more than I can do. That's a real whole nigga move, man. Grown men ain't got no business being jealous of nobody. You know what I'm saying? Anything that a man can do, you can do too. You can do anything in Alahym if he allowed you to do it. You know what I'm saying? But what one person do, you may not do. That's why we're talking about the substance and the treasures he got to get last night. He might give you another treasure. It's still working towards the same common goal, but niggas like to be seen. You know what I'm saying? Korah then wanted Moses' place and didn't realize all the stress Moses was under from dealing with these hard-headed people. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't realize what it is to deal with a stiff-necked, rebellious people from the day that you met them. Matter of fact, in that same chapter, when them boys started, a couple chapters before they came up against him, he said, man, have I birthed all these people? Do you know what I'm saying? Why I got to deal with all these people? I don't want to deal with these niggas. These niggas were my last nerve. That's why he made them drink that golden calf. The man was so heated. That's what got him cut off from not coming in the land, because the people had him heated. You know what I'm saying? Y'all complaining for this and complaining for that. That man got tired of it. That's why the writer of Hebrews say, hey man, don't do those that feed you the word in a certain way, that they can do it with joy and not grief, because that's not profitable for you. You know what I'm saying? It ended up not being profitable for Moses because they were working his nerves. And they don't really, but everybody want to be, I think everybody want to be the preacher because what they see on Sundays. You know what I'm saying? Everybody love you and throwing money at you. What was that nigga who had the people walk around on that money, man? You know what video I'm talking about, Stanley?
No.
It was somebody else with credit. That wasn't Eddie Long, though. It was another nigga.
Yeah, he was. I seen him.
When they had all, he talking about, you got some money up here? Let me put this anointing on it. And he would walk across all that money. I could see his face. Creflo was there, though.
Yeah.
But I can't.
There's another Atlanta preacher.
Yeah, but I think that's what people have in their mind, you know what I'm saying? That you're going to get this adulation and this fame and this love from everybody. And it's not, in the reality, that's not what it is. Because even I told y'all before, just on the Christian level, they say Christian pastors got a high level of suicide. You know what I'm saying? High level of suicide. They get stressed out. You know what I'm saying? In their life. Which shows they faith wasn't in Alahym to go that far with it. I just quit at that point. Just going to do something else. Just not going. I don't see how they could be stressed. Go ahead, bro.
Is that more than 50%? Because all the ones I see, they looking good. You know, they ain't stressing. You know, they travel, they taking vacations. So I don't know Christians that's like.
Well, I know.
I ain't heard the preacher killing this.
No,
but I'm
I talk so fast. I hit him up right
Yeah.
Say, hey, coach, you know.
Well, I had read an article years back. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they were just going with like black pastors, but they say a lot of them they had a high rate of suicide.
I sound like they
I mean, I wouldn't know. I didn't do the research on
He
it.
did say I read the article. Yeah. That's why I ain't say that. That one, yeah, exactly.
I mean, I ain't did it, but at the same token though,
He ain't vouched for it. He was just saying that's what I heard.
but at the same token though, we can see. But at the same token though, you done seen people who rich who ain't preaching the word and they not happy.
Yeah, but rich people kill themselves.
You know what I'm saying? So we can't look at because they doing things that we can't do that they actually happy.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he in Costa Rica hitting holes. You know what I'm talking about? He might hate his life though. You know what I'm talking about?
For real though.
He might hate his life though.
The average person be balling, but it's a.
But I know from the article that I read, they say they stress came from their duties. You know what I'm saying? And he said duty.
I seen Pastor signed a 6-year, $110 million deal with a church.
Woo!
Basketball contracts.
Basketball contract. Dang.
Yeah, they do sign though. It's like a job.
6-year, $110 million.
Hey man, my old barber from round the way, Mr. Wayne, nigga pull up on Mr. Wayne. Mr. Wayne like, yeah, nigga, I got 20 churches up under me, and I'm like, and you cutting head here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't know nothing about no word there. I'm looking at his barbershop. You got 20 churches in here. Why you cutting hair in the hole in the wall?
That's my I like that.
You know, I'm talking about, but I thought after all these years, you got all, because when we first were young, that nigga wasn't preaching like that. At least that's what, it wasn't until we got to be like 17, 18, 19 years old, we hear this thing talking about, he got all these churches. And I'm like, niggas listen to you? You? I'm like, boys, it'd been sometime when if you ain't had no standards, you'd be like, man, shoot, boy, I'm in the wrong line of work.
I don't even feel like that.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I say if you ain't got no standards, you'd be like, boy, I'm in the wrong line of work. Because these niggas getting money to stand up here and say nothing. And these niggas love it. You know what I'm talking about? But to see all that money that was up there on that stage when this nigga, somebody, you put some money up here? You want some of this? This nigga is running across money. And these people standing up hollering and screaming and clapping, loving every minute of it. Like, nigga, that's your money. This man gonna take this money and go spend it on 3 different mistresses. And you gonna come back here next week and give him some more. But I can't recall what video it is, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. That nigga literally running up and down the pews, only people money. Like, when that nigga parted, he said, you got some money up here? They just running up there, throwing it up there. I seen another video, man, a dude had so much money in the back, and they just like got it all, and I'm like, good grief. What is this nigga saying that make people want to give you all your money like this?
That you can live how you want.
Man, I ain't heard a preacher yet made me want to give him money like that. Not like that. You might shoot him a couple bucks. Hey, I appreciate what you're doing, but not like this.
And them boys doing this your way to heaven. You buying your way to
Some
heaven.
of them, the way they teach, they probably condemn the people saying, you ain't tithing.
Oh yeah, Creflo did that. I know you see that video too when that nigga was like, when Creflo say he want to shoot a nigga with an AK-47 if they ain't tied. And that if you came in here, there'd be a little thing say non-tithe or something, and they'll just shoot you. Yeah, that nigga was serious though. That just tripped me out, man. Come on, man. Them boys want that cash. Well, go ahead, bro.
So, you like most pastors get help from the community on the churches? Because there's some churches out there who don't have enough funding.
So they gotta be getting their funds from somewhere. Either the pastor's funding them or they getting it from the city. So, I mean, where are those pastors getting that?
I can only speculate because I don't know directly, but most churches are 501c3 government institutions, so they non-profit organizations. That's how they're able to keep all that money because they ain't got to pay no taxes on it. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? All churches are 501c3 organizations. You know what I'm saying? Which is the same way if you was to start a regular non-profit. You know what I'm saying? Like the United Way is a non-profit or something like that. All the money they get, they ain't got to pay no taxes on it. But anybody who work at a non-profit, you can give them a salary though. You know what I'm saying? And they can be paid. They basically saying we're not in the business of making money. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that we're not taking the money that we're getting and trying to make a profit. If we got $1 million, we ain't trying to turn it into 2. Not saying that we ain't trying to get $2 million, but I'm not going to take this million and put it in this. That's why you see churches branch off and start other parts of it. Like the dude we called up about the cleaning that stuff, like Grace and Outreach and all this here, they got something separate from the church where they deal in real estate, renting houses and renting apartment buildings. Yeah, it's separate from the church.
Restaurants and then
You know what I'm saying? Because they can't put it with the church because those are profit organizations. You know what I'm saying? So they make it separate, and that's how a lot of them try to get their money.
But to answer the question, grants. When you a non-profit, you can get grants, and that means you don't got to pay.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. The government give it to you. The city ain't gonna give it to you. The feds gonna give it to you.
Then people are just, they ain't gonna get it back on their taxes, they'll donate.
Yeah.
So do you think that most preachers are taking money out of the pulpit, or you think they getting it from the government?
It all depends on the organization itself.
Because if they got people, I mean, I'm just thinking about like this. If the pastor, I'm gonna say crypto dollar.
Yeah.
If crypto was taking money from the church, don't you think a lot of people would know about that? Because he got people working.
He got a salary.
I was that's how it's built. It's how it's
He got so
built.
many people in his church.
They count the money when the money come in. Because my dad used to work for a church. They count the money when the money come in, and depending on how they divvy it up, they go to the lights first for the building, and then go to everybody else who is on payroll, and then the rest of it goes to whatever they see fit for.
Yeah, that's.
Okay, but don't you think that they got all these people in there that's working with the money? Don't you think they would have been Radix people out like Creflo or Radix?
No.
No, it's not a rat because when I went to church, they had a day where they set it down, where they had a whole.
They would run it down.
And they run it down to you about
Where the money going? Most churches let the people know where the money going.
Yeah, the whole members know
They
about
know
it.
where the money going. So you know your pastor getting paid. That's not a secret. You see this nigga.
And most of them feel like their pastor should be paid. Because I've seen people who say that my pastor should be living good.
You see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's normal. But I'm saying, like, you know how people say, you know, they take money and they get this and get that.
Some of them do steal money and they end up getting caught for it after a while.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because most churches, they run that down because they're corporations. When you become 501c3, you be basically a corporation. And the members are shareholders. So by law, they obligated to share that with them where that money going. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't no we can't show you this. Like they obligated by law, they got to show it to them. Only way they ain't got to show it to them is if the church is not 501c3, and most churches are not gonna buck that. They're gonna take that on because that means the pastor actually doesn't have to pay taxes on his salary. You know what I'm saying? That's why they do it. If Creflo got $1 million a year in salary, he ain't got to pay no taxes on that. He keep the whole $1 million. That's why the Catholic Church owns so much land. They don't got to pay property taxes on it or nothing. Because they can't tax the church. You know what I'm saying? That's why people take that route. But they know where the money going. What it is it's manipulation on the pastor's part to make the people feel like they ought to give him their money. And there's nothing wrong with them giving him their money. And that he should be living exponentially better than you are.
Because he's a man of God.
Because he's a man of God. He should be in a Rolls Royce and you should be catching the bus here. You need an Uber.
Yeah.
You Uber here. I got a Bentley. I can't preach this week. I got to take my G5 to fly down there to Turks and Caicos.
Can't fly commercial, baby.
Now we're gonna spend the bus.
They got a church board.
Yeah, that's true.
That too, because you got to remember, tithe is just supposed to be 10% of your earnings. These boys just asking free will offering, this offering, pass the plate round offering, pass it around, pass it around, pass it around.
Plant a seed, baby. Plant a seed.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, from what I've been told, And I believe it's accurate if my memory serves me correctly. Like First Baptist Church, they want your tax records and income and all before you can even be a member.
And if you don't got, they got a credit card. If you got debit on your card, they pass that around too.
Yeah,
They got the swipe and all. That's bad. Man, I was young, man. I heard R.J. Washington had an ATM in that church, man. Our homegirl, she used to get mad. I used to clown all the time. I was like 17. I used to clown. Like, why this nigga got an ATM in the church? What's going on?
Oh yeah, ATM.
Now, you remember, this is 97 now. You know what I'm saying?
I remember that.
So for me, this was unheard of. Like why do a nigga need to go pull out some 20s in the church house? Don't nobody see nothing wrong with this? Like when you stepped in here, you see the ATM machine, you be like, oh, bro, I'm finna go to the house. Cause this nigga tripping. Do you know what I'm saying?
Convenience, I guess.
No, I guess like this. I guess nigga felt like this. This is before debit cards.
Yeah, he gotta leave.
And nigga, that's the dope house. Nigga, I sell everything in here, so you ain't gotta go nowhere. I got weed, I got crack, I got coke, I got heroin. You ain't gotta do nothing. You can just go in the back and get high. That's what they doing.
So, do you? I mean, I read the word. I haven't read the Bible, so I'm not,
Yeah, you good.
But do you think that offering can be a deed to somebody versus giving money? Like for example, I could come to the church and then I can mentor somebody's kid, and God see that as an offering versus me coming and giving $10, $20. Man, I need that to put on the price or put somewhere else.
Word wise, no, that's not no offering. That's just what you supposed to do.
But I'm saying though, that's still giving to the church, right?
No, not according to the word. Absolutely not.
So in the word, it say give money to the church.
It say they made offerings, and at the time, offerings could have been money, livestock, crops, but you had to offer something of your substance that you possessed.
And that's time.
No, that's not time. That's not scriptural.
It had to be something tangible.
I'm about to say just like the lady that gave her last.
Yeah, like the master. Yeah, that's an example of that. What that is in Luke. Give me that Luke 21.
They gave a penny.
Yeah.
Lady gave a penny.
You gave her.
She gave more than
It said she gave more than everybody. Let me make sure it's 21. Oh no, time. No, you can't get no time. That man saying get no, because if you're not a laborer in the work, then he don't care nothing about your time. You know what I'm saying? Because the Levites' time was dedicated to him regardless. You know what I'm talking about? It wasn't no, I don't want to work today, nigga. If you don't get in that tabernacle and get to working.
And they still had to offer.
And they had to. That's another thing that they don't mention too. Is that the Levites or the priests, that they had to make offerings too. They had to tithe too. You know what I'm saying? Nobody don't like to talk about that aspect of it when they talk about tithe. The preachers were supposed to tithe too. Right? That just wasn't, the people do it and the priests don't do it. The priests had to do it too. The main reason what the tithe system was set up for is because the priests had no inheritance. They didn't have nothing in the land, and that was a way for the people to give them something for their service because they didn't have anything, so to speak. That's what it was set up for. And then men got hold to it in contemporary times and made it something else. You know what I'm saying? Let me make sure we're in the right chapter though. I had just looked at this the other day too. Yeah, Luke 21:1. I was right. Yeah, I understand what you're talking about. Like when you talking about doing like looking out for somebody. The book tell you already supposed to look out for the fatherless and the widows and the poor. So, because how we served Alahym in those times, it ain't like it is now. I'm gonna do some painting at the church, and I done did my time for y'all. He ain't look at it that way, because you wasn't coming in there doing no work on the tabernacle or the temple anyway. That wasn't your place. That wasn't your spot. That was the Levi's job. If you would have came in there and did that, he'd have killed you for it. You know what I'm saying? That's not your job.
That was a good point.
Indeed, it was. Go ahead.
And he looked up and saw the rich man casting their gifts into the treasury. And he saw also a certain poor widow casting in thither 2 mites.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, of a truth I say unto you that this poor widow hath cast in more than they all. Mm-hmm. For all these have their abundance to cast into the offerings of Alahym, but she of her pensory have cast in all the living that she had.
See, he sat back and looked at it as that this woman cast everything that she had versus these dudes who had extra. But that's also another thing where dudes be talking about the offerings and all this stuff wasn't never money, and they just said this was the offering of Alahym, and they tossing cash in here. Do you know what I'm saying? That wasn't a tithe that they were putting in there though. That was an offering. More than likely it was a free will offering, because there's different types of offerings in the word. You know what I'm saying? You got free will offerings, and you got, I think, voluntary offerings. You got burnt offerings. You know what I'm saying? You got sin offerings. You got different types of tithes according to the word. You know what I'm saying? You got a 3-year tithe, you got jubilee tithes, you got regular tithes, like, and dudes don't go through that and break that down and explain it. So when you step into Sunday church, they taking the stuff that's in the law and they know you don't know it, and they exploit you on it. It's no different than being in the street. You know what I'm saying? What they tell you, man? Game is to be sold, not told. So they not gonna tell you. And so because you don't know, I can exploit you for what you don't know. You know what I'm saying? And that's all that most people bank on. You don't know the word. And because you don't know it, then I can use the word against you. So when dudes get older, that's why they turn away from the word and don't want nothing to do with it, because they never really knew it. So then the people who in these churches have been exploiting people with it, so they feel like it's a problem with the word and not the men who are actually exploiting the people.
That's what I was gonna say, when people see all the folly going on in the church, they don't want nothing to do with the Bible whatsoever.
They're like,
They just put it down.
if people in the church sleeping with multiple different people, being homosexual, lying and all this type of stuff, that ain't got nothing to do with the word. The word actually tells you during the early 1st century that stuff was going on in their congregations at that time. What we just read the other day, he said them Gentiles, say, boy, this ain't even reported amongst the Gentiles. What they were doing?
Sleeping with their mama.
Sleeping with their mama. He said, boy, the Gentiles don't even get off like this, and them niggas nasty. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't even imagine hearing, boy, they sleeping with their mama in the church. You couldn't even believe that. But you have people who claim they believe in Yahushua not too long after his resurrection and ascent, laying with a mama. Do you know what I'm saying? Because we already know in the law who laid with it wasn't their mama. Who laid with his father's wife though? Reuben. You couldn't even sit back and imagine. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? It wouldn't even cross your mind to lay with your daddy's wife. Reuben decided to do it. Just to do it too. He didn't even have no rationale why he did it. He just did it just out of spite. Listen, nigga, you see this nigga over there? Just out of spite. Think about that though. Nigga laying with his mama.
They ain't say he raped her.
No, he ain't raped her.
Yeah, she was hot.
Say she was hot and ready like a Little Caesars. Come on, man.
We done with Luke.
Yeah, we done with Luke. Come on back over to 2 Chronicles, man, 9 and 20.
She was wrong too.
She was wrong. I said
She was wrong too, but
You
guess
the
what?
man, and that's your daddy.
But guess what though? Guess what though? Reuben knew the law.
You knew, yeah. You knew.
She said, get it
You
gotta respect your elders.
She told him to come in here and get that.
Shoot, he better pull the Joseph, I shall not.
Yeah, he knew. Yeah, he told to know. Supposed to know.
You know he know. Who told him? Jacob told him. You think he didn't know that was wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, he know it was wrong. Good in season. He said, boy, Bila,
Come.
I'm finna get her. I'm finna shoot. That ain't his real wife. That's just a handmaid.
He ain't respect. That's all.
Clearly, he ain't respect himself either. I'm talking about, bro, I don't know how niggas sleep with his mama. I don't know how you do that. I don't even know how that crossed your mind. And you know what the word part is? That's why you can't turn around, because you know in these contemporary time, we say that's what white people do. We can't even put that on white people, because black people were doing it first. That's why I say contemporary time. You know when you hear deviant stuff, boy, they be like, that's white people stuff. Go ahead.
How you know we were doing it first?
That's what it said.
Because that's what the text
They
says.
said in the word.
Yeah. Like any type. Oh, what that is? What it is? What, Genesis 49?
Because from my history of it, and my research, you know, our slave masters were doing that to us.
Yeah.
And they made it think it was okay, even though they was already gay and all that.
Okay, let me ask you a question. And then when you say the slave master, what time period is that? You would say like the 17, 16, 17, 1800s, right?
The race of man.
But I'm talking about the time period. I'm talking about the time period you just mentioned.
Oh, you talking about 19, well, I mean, 80s? I mean, the
18.
Like the 17, 1800s, right? Our people been perverts long for then. You know what I'm saying? Long for then. See, see, I can't even front on that, right? We can't even put Genesis 49 and 1. Get to it. We can't even sit back and put all this stuff on white people that we learn this stuff from white people. White people learn this stuff from you, because the Egyptians been faggots. Do you know what I'm saying? There's hieroglyphs on the wall with an Egyptian man trying to give himself fellatio. You know what I'm saying? Oral sex to himself. He tried to top himself off. I just used the technical term for it. I'm for real, like the Egyptians been punks. Like they story of their God is a homosexual story. And it's necrophilia. Because Osiris got cut up in 12 pieces. And all Isis found was his penis. So she decided to have sex with a severed penis. This brought out Horus. Horus went to fight his uncle Set. And you know what Horus decided to do? Let me masturbate on lettuce and then try to sodomize my uncle. Now this is what they gods do. So I know if your God gay, your people gay. You know what I'm saying? And then we got to look at the time of the flood. He said that you got to look at Sodom and Gomorrah. Those were black people. And they were stone cold faggots. Those were black people. Them weren't white people. You know what I'm saying? When we turn around and we look at what was going on during the flood, them was black people. You know what I'm saying? That was black people around here doing all that freaky nasty stuff. You know what I'm talking about? See, we live in a time period now where it's taboo to talk about, man, black people been gay in America for years. White people just were open with being gay. They didn't care if you knew they were gay.
So let me ask you this thing. If we, so that's good you said that, but if that's the case, then if we were already like that, then why did our slave masters try to enforce that on us? And we were already like that.
When I say now, that's when I say already. When I say already, meaning we had that wasn't a behavior that we learned from them.
Yeah.
That was a behavior that we had already throughout history partook in.
And when the slave master did that to us, that was to inject fear in our.
Yeah, that was more of a breaking tactic.
So they raped.
If I turn around, I don't want to say, if this white man turn around and rape Stanley in front of me, then this gonna make me have some type of fear to this white man to where I don't want him to do me like he did Stanley.
And then the women not gonna respect Stanley.
And exactly. Or if they rape my wife in front of me, this gonna make me have fear of him, and then my wife's not gonna respect me because I didn't stop this brute beast from raping her. You know what I'm saying? It was just a fear tactic in a psychological ploy, and also some of their own perversity, because some of them just probably wanted some butt and felt like I got these slaves and I'm gonna take some butt. You know who gonna stop me? I know you got some people who don't believe that. I wasn't talking. Them people just did that on their own. You know what I'm talking about? Because before that Willie Lynch letter was wrote, they were raping black people long before that letter was wrote.
They were hitting them on the boat.
They were hitting them on the boat, all that. Because of sexual depravity. You got to realize that when you don't have the word in you, then you able to do anything at any time. You know what I'm saying?
Sexual depravity.
That's all it is sexual depravity. You got a perverse mind. You know what I'm saying? Just like somebody posted a video talking about, hey, look at like it's 2017, and they niggas showed a video where T.I. was in a room with a whole bunch of women and his wife was there because some dude put him out there talking about they having threesomes with women. And in our society and in most black culture, they think that's acceptable. You remember that nigga talking, I like girls who like girls. That junk is perverse though. You know, I ain't never really heard. You know what I'm saying? It's perverse though. We don't got no problem with it. Only time we got a problem with it, you won't see no nigga walk around here talking about I like boys who like boys though.
I ain't never think about that. What that is, man.
It's the same thing. Cause when I was young, I ain't really care for lesbian act. That ain't really do nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? I know niggas like to sit back. Boy, I want to see them two hoes get up. They ain't do nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? Some niggas love it. But either way it go, it's perverse. Like, why would you wanna? If you don't want a man touching a man, then why you cool with a woman touching a woman? Either way it go, it's backwards and confused.
Yeah, confused.
You know what I'm saying? Because I told you about old girl who got the titty tape. Talking about, we walk around here. Lady got a real product called titty tape. I'm not making this up. Yeah, I'm not making this up. Then I seen another lady go off on about it. She talking about my titty's too big. This junk ain't doing nothing for me. She was hot about it too. You see? That junk was hilarious. But it's the fact that it's so bad in this society that a lesbian feel like all she got to do is put some tape on her areola and she can walk around here with no shirt on like a man.
Let me ask you this. If you have somebody, it's not cool. Okay, I don't accept it, but if you have family or just close ones that are like that, and they actually married in, like I got an auntie who actually got married up north.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first that ever happened.
Yeah.
So I mean, even though I don't agree with that, I still have a relationship with her. but I don't have to accept that. But
No, you don't.
If we accept it in our heart, is that sin? That's
Accept what in your heart?
I mean, accept that. Hey, look, that's cool for my auntie to do.
I mean, if that's your people, if you choose to deal with them, you choose to deal with them. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying, I mean, we cool. We got a relationship.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, but I look at the same token. You can have people in your family that are covetous, or liars, or thieves. You know what I'm saying? It's just not like homosexuality is just the worst sin above all sins. Because you got people in your family that may sin and you still may deal with them. You know what I'm saying? Like if I had a homosexual relative, I'm like, shoot, nigga, you know you still my people. Keep that faggot stuff away from me though.
So you think I'll be wrong if I was to have a son and I don't bring it around her?
No, you ain't wrong, because I don't want my son seeing it. I don't want him confused, asking me questions. Why auntie kissing that lady? I don't want to explain that to him.
You should have to do that.
That's what the dudes were talking about, the stuff they push on TV, that now I got to explain this to my son.
But see, either way, somebody gonna explain it to him. So why don't you say, hey, look, John, this is wrong. Your auntie.
Oh yeah, he would already know that. You know what I'm saying? But no, I ain't finna bring my no, because I ain't finna come around you and you on that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Y'all keep that pillow over. Hey man, keep that stuff over there.
It's like having two dead uncles and you got a son. You think I'm gonna take my son right now?
No, I'm not taking
men and boys.
He ain't got no
Tell me he gonna babysit.
What?
He ain't got no
That's no different than I ain't finna take my son around no pedophile.
Yeah, same thing.
You know what I'm saying? It's no different. This is like I said, we just mentioning that because mainly all sin is a perversity of the mind. You know what I'm saying? All of them. But homosexuality ain't no worse than a whoremonger. And a whoremonger ain't no worse than an adulterer. And an adulterer ain't no worse than a fornicator. And a fornicator ain't no worse than a liar. And a liar ain't no worse than a thief. You all going to hell for it. The thing is that with a homosexual is they feel like you supposed to accept. See, a thief don't feel like you supposed to accept them stealing.
It's a secret.
You know what I'm saying? They know that wrong. But a homosexual feel like you supposed to accept my lifestyle.
But you know what? That's actually law. So if they go, and this crazy you said that because this could be big. This could really be big because if they pass laws about accepting homosexuality, then you gotta accept it.
I ain't gotta do nothing.
No. I'm just saying that you don't have to do it. But let's just say those people out there try it, or somebody who like I don't know. I can't do it.
Get it out, man. Get it out.
All of that. I can't do everything right now, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you mean, man.
I mean,
This land we get into it, bro. Like everything.
And one thing about it, boy, I ain't finna accept no old 6'3", 250-pound punk wanting to run with no dude dressed up like no woman. You niggas is sick.
They say Caitlyn Jenner still like women. Bruce Jenner.
That's what that nigga name ain't Caitlyn. That nigga named Bruce.
He turned to a
That
woman.
nigga mama named him Bruce. That nigga ran in. That nigga ran in the Olympics in 1976. That nigga named Bruce.
I just don't get how you change genders and then now you're a lesbian. You could have been a man.
Yeah, that's.
They say you a he she, but that want women. You already had a wife.
If you want a woman, then you want a woman.
That's no different than these women. Go get it. Go. I'm gonna keep that joke to myself. Go ahead. It's a little vulgar.
2 Chronicles 20.
Verse 17. We in verse 18 actually.
It says, and Jehoshaphat bowed his head with his face to the ground, and all of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fell before Yahuwah, worshiping Yahuwah.
Yes, sir.
And the Levites and the children of the Kohathites and the children of the Korites stood up to praise Yahuwah Alahym of Yasharah with a loud voice on high.
Go ahead.
And they rose early in the morning and went forth into the wilderness of Tekoa. And as they went forth, Jehoshaphat stood.
What did he say?
Hear me, O Yahuwah, the inhabitants of Jerusalem.
What did he tell him to do?
Believe in Yahuwah.
Do
your
what?
Elohim.
Believe in who?
Yahuwah, your
That's the
Elohim.
first thing you need to do.
So shall ye be
You
established.
can never be established if you don't believe. Go ahead.
Believe his prophets.
Believe his what?
His prophets.
He say his prophets. That means those that he sent. Because if you believe it, give me John 13 and 20. See, a lot of people sit back and look at this. Is why Paul would mention like follow me or believe me. Because if Yah sent him, you're not believing on him, you believing on the person who sent him. Go ahead, John 13 and 20.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that receiveth whomsoever I send receiveth me. And he that receiveth me receiveth him that
All he
sent.
doing is telling you the same things Jehoshaphat said. You believe his prophets, you'll prosper. You'll get some gain. You'll get some profit if you believe those whom he sent. A lot of people don't believe those who, they didn't believe in Mashiach and the Father, Son, Him. That's why them people didn't prosper. Come on back to 2 Chronicles 20, man. Huh? Go ahead.
It said, when he had consulted with the people, he appointed singers unto Yahuwah that should praise the beauty of the esteem as they had went out before the army, and to say, praise Yahuwah, for his mercy endures forever. It says, when they began to sing and praise, Yahuwah set ambushments against the children of Ammon, Moab, and of Mount Seir, which were come against Yehuda, and they were smitten.
Come back to the Epistle of Judah so we can finish that off to see how he set them ambushments. Because he trapped them, boxed them in, so he could take them out. Same way that the ambushment to take the people out is to bring them in the valley of Jehoshaphat, or the valley of Himnon, or the valley of Megiddo, whichever you want to call it. You know what I'm talking about? So he could box them in and take them out. Because guess what? Ammon, Seir, and Moab going to be down with the beat. All of them going to be running with them. Some of y'all seen that article where they say the modern day Lebanese, and they say them Canaanites. Go ahead, man.
As the scripture in the Bible said that God coming back to get his chosen one. Right? So how do you know if you're chosen?
Oh man, we went over that recently. It's basically if you believe and you follow the word, it's certain things that show forth evidence of who chosen and who is not. Like having faith has been established.
But I'm saying though, I mean, if you confess your sin to God, you know what I'm saying, and you say, you know, I want to go to heaven, you do right, and you try to make an effort not to sin, you come back. But if you're not his chosen one,
yeah, you scarred.
So even if you do right and you're not a chosen,
I mean, there's certain people you could do right, but your heart not be perfect, and you scarred.
But this is my question to you: God has chosen one.
Yeah.
Let's just say 95% of the world gave their life to Christ, but 95% wasn't the chosen ones.
They dying.
Even though they did right.
They dying.
So,
because if you listen to me, if you were chosen, you would do right.
Okay, but I'm saying,
like
ain't no doing right if you ain't chosen.
Yeah, if you're chosen, because he say you are blessed from the beginning because you were sanctified to the belief of the truth. So the just live by their faith. So if you believe, then you're gonna live. You know what I'm saying? Like there's evidence that there has to one thing about Yah's a man of evidence. There has to be proof. See what I'm saying? See, you can talk till you make you know what I'm saying, your butt catch fire. You know what I'm talking about? But that don't mean that you're telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? The way that you live will show forth the evidence that you're chosen. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't believe in the Mashiach as the scripture has said, and Yahushua or the word called Jesus Christ as the scripture has said, you don't believe and you're not chosen and you're going to hell. You know what I'm saying? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. The book is very, very clear on that.
So you're saying that as long as you believe and you follow, you the chosen one. As long as you believe you're the chosen one.
When we say believe, we talking about believe in what's written, and then because you believe the promises that he stated, then therefore you walk in his direction and the directives and the commandments and ordinances that he has given. That's what you're gonna do. See, the reason why you're chosen, then you're gonna believe on Yahushua, you're gonna get immersed in his name, and you're gonna live a set apart lifestyle from that point forward to receive the Ruach HaKodesh, or what people say the Holy Spirit. If you don't have the Ruach, you're going to hell. The book say if you don't have the spirit of a Mashiach, you are none of his. So if that man's spirit is not in you, you scarred.
Okay, what was that scripture that you said about if you don't have his spirit?
Give me Romans 8 and 8.
What is that?
It's in the epistle letter, Romans 8 and 8.
We're ready for 8 and 8.
Read past.
This nigga's retarded. Romans 8 and 8.
8 and 8.
We'll talk
8 and 8.
Not the pastors, okay?
8 and 8. Where you whistle at? This nigga over here shaving an apple.
Mango.
Cut your mango.
Oh, that's a mango. I finna say, listen. Hey.
So when they that are in the flesh cannot please Alahym.
They that are in the flesh can't please Alahym. Go ahead.
But ye are not in the flesh.
You're not in the flesh.
But you are in the spirit.
In the Ruach.
So be that the spirit of Alahym dwell in you. Now if any man have not the Ruach of Alahym, he is none of his.
You don't belong to him. Because the Ruach would be, give me John 1 and 12. The Ruach is going to symbolize that you have become a son of God. So if you don't possess it, see, everybody say, I'm a child of God. Where's your evidence that you're a child of God? A lot of people make statements and they be lying. You know what I'm saying? I can say I'm a child of God, but how could I be a child of God and I'm a murderer? And to be a murderer is to hate your brother without cause. To be a murderer is to see your brother commit sin and not say nothing to him. Because according to the word, you are a murderer. Because you hate your brother in your heart. Because the law say, don't hate your brother, but rebuke him so you don't allow sin on him. So if your homeboy tell you, boy, I'm finna go do this and I'm finna go do that, and you don't say nothing to him, according to the word, you a murderer. And no, a murderer has eternal life abiding in him. You know what I'm saying? How can you say you a child of God and you lie? You know what I'm saying? See, we make statements because we make general statements because we trying to make ourselves feel better about the things that we doing wrong because we want to. We pulling the cane. You bringing this man anything and you expect him to accept it. And this man don't take anything. See, they done taught us about our God all wrong. This man is dead serious. He don't play no games. He is very specific in what he wants you to do. He's very strict and he will not compromise or bend his word for anyone.
Now, this is maybe.
Yeah.
Is God, can you show me the word where is God heard or he?
Oh yeah, that's not a problem. Go ahead.
I want you to show me where that's at. Because you know it's a lot of talk going on right now.
Whether he's a man or a woman.
Or is it just a spirit?
He's a man.
I don't think so.
Oh, I mean the book's pretty clear on that. That'll take me like 2 minutes. Go ahead. Read the first thing you got. What do you got?
We have John.
John what? John 1 and 12.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It says, but as many as received him, to them gave he power to become sons of God, even to them that believe on his name, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of Alahym. And the word was made flesh and dwelt among us. And
See, that's the key thing, right? To become a son of Alahym, you have to believe on his name, and he give you the power to do that. If you don't believe on this man as the scripture has said, then there's no way that you become a son of Alahym. That's impossible. It won't happen. If you don't know this man from Genesis to Malachi, you're not going to be saved.
Okay, let me ask you something. I want you to kind of, so you know it's over almost a zillion people in this whole wide world.
Yeah.
I'm not just talking about the United States.
Yeah, I know.
Because you know you can fit like.
We know it's a lot of people.
Right. So do you think that most of the world even know about Yahweh or know about this?
Oh yeah. Way more than you think they do. They know. They don't care. They don't care. You got to remember that. It started in the East. They know. They been know. Like when we came into the land, that's why Rahab said, we heard about y'all. We heard about y'all and what he did to the Egyptians. We don't want no trouble. That's why the king of Moab tried to hire Balaam to curse us, because he had heard about y'all and what he had done. You don't think the whole world know about the Exodus up out of Egypt? Whether they believe in the book or not, they know about it. That's why the book say they won't say that Yahuwah led the children of Yasharal up out of Mizraim no more. He said you ain't going to say that no more after a certain period of time. You know what I'm saying? Now, we don't have nothing to write on because we know the characters in our alphabet would also show you that Yahuwah is a man. But let's just go to John chapter 14 and about verse 26 where the son himself calls him a father. See, there's no female gender in part of Yah. He didn't have no woman with him. It's just him. He's self-existing, self-sustaining. He just was there. That's why he say that's why he called him a father and the only begotten son. There was no woman. He didn't mate with anybody.
John 14.
26.
It says, but the Comforter, which is the Ruach, whom the Father will send in my name. The Father will send in my name. He shall teach you all.
Notice that he also said the Ruach was a what? He. Masculine principle. You know what I'm saying? And he said his father, masculine principle. Go ahead.
And he shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance.
Now let's go to John 17 for another witness from the same man though.
You want to talk?
Yeah, 17 and 1. Because like if we go on the Aleph and the Tav, like that first character, that Aleph, it shows you that he's a man. From what that character means, show you that he's a man. Because every Hebrew character has a meaning to it, and all of them are masculine.
Especially the yard.
Yeah, the yod is the strongest one. That's masculine.
All right, we had John 17:1. These words spoke Yahushua, and he lifted up his eyes to Shamayim and said, Father, the hour is come. Esteem thy son, that thy son may esteem thee.
There's nowhere in the scriptures at any time that anybody refer to Alahym as a woman. They always refer to him as a man. Where's that spot in Isaiah when they said, I think it's Isaiah 64. Let's give him one out the script though. Well, we was in scripture, but 64 I want to say in 11. Let me double check though. Yeah, there we go, 64 and 8. And then we'll give you one out the Tanakh, man, out the prophets, man. Isaiah 64 and 8.
It says, but now, O Yahuwah, thou art our Father.
They're what?
Our Father.
They're what?
Our Father.
That's masculine.
We are the clay, and thou art our potter.
Now let's swing to Exodus 3 and 14 so we can see that this Yahuwah he talking about is the one who presented himself to Moses, and that you can see that Alahym is a man.
Exodus 3 and 14.
I disagree when y'all say everybody, the world know. I don't feel like the world know.
Everybody know. Well, when we say no, let's see, we take knowing as that they may know all the ins and outs and all the minute and intricate details, but they know that this man exists. They know his word. They know elements of his word. You know how many people walk around here that know when the Sabbath day is, but they don't keep it? You know how many people know that this man say don't steal? You know how many people know about Noah and the flood? You know how many people know who King David is, King Solomon is? You know how many people mock the word because they say don't eat pork or shellfish?
I'm gonna tell you, this is a good example. Think about it.
Matthew, please. School Matthew.
That's my nigga.
I feel like the more wealth you have and the more people you're around who have that, you will start to see how people really like go about God versus people who don't have it. Cause I look at it like this. You know, like for somebody who was locked up in jail and they got those Jehovah's Witnesses going to the jail, they are only preaching them one thing. They're not talking about everything.
Oh, check it.
It's the same stuff that our masters back in the day was teaching us in order to get it.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Listen, check it. I just said this last night, right? So the Jehovah's Witnesses are giving you their interpretation of what the text say, but they still read the text to you, so you still heard it. Now, whether you understood it or not is a whole nother aspect. Because the Jehovah's Witnesses come knock on your door and they don't know what they're talking about. But every word that's written in this book is true. And it don't change the fact that the person preaching it is a liar. Because we just read that last night. In Matthew 23, he told them the scribes and Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. Everything they tell you to do, observe and do, but do not after their works. Just because somebody wicked and a liar don't change the fact that that word is right and that is true. Everybody, and what she was asking me to pull for you is in Matthew chapter 24. When he say, when this gospel of the kingdom is preached in the four corners of the earth, then the end gonna come. These people gonna hear it and they know. Matter of fact, the text actually says when you look in the skies above, the gospel is being preached to you. Like when you come outside at nighttime and you see the moon and the stars, you actually getting the gospel preached to you. You just think you're looking at moons and stars. Like this man say, everybody will be without excuse. You know what I'm saying? So when you stand in front of that throne, it ain't gonna be like, I didn't know. You could have an example like this here, right? He could send somebody to you and you reject them, and that might have been your only opportunity to get a chance to hear it. And when he stand in front of you and open up the books, he gonna let you know, I gave you an opportunity to hear it and you said no. Because he's not obligated to give you 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20 chances to catch it. He only obligated to give you one. Because he's merciful, he gives you multiple though. But he's only obligated to give you one. Because he can't take you out and you didn't have an opportunity to hear. Then he would be unjust and he couldn't condemn you for it at that point. You know what I'm saying? He don't operate like that. He ain't gonna cash you into the lake and you didn't hear.
So it also says in the word that every man should hear. It's the support. So I feel like that God might not come back until everybody that's alive on this earth actually hears it. So apparently everybody has heard the word.
Well, there's a lot of whole other things that have to go down before that aspect of it being over with. There's a lot of things that got to go down, and the word being preached is just one of them in that whole total plan and call. He just saying, but before I smash all y'all, this gospel got to be preached. Because he's not going to kill nobody and they didn't get a chance to. Because anybody who done hit that grave, oh, they heard something. They heard something. They just chose to disregard it. Like we look at it as that they supposed to sit down in the area and be instructed. That's not. He didn't never say that that's what was going to go down. But he also tell you those that without the law will perish without the law, and those with the law will perish in the law. He told you that by the mouth of Paul in Romans, because the Gentiles didn't have no law, and them Canaanites shall perish when he came in the land. He around there laying with boys and animals and their mammies and all that. Then he killed every last one of them. Because that man don't play no game. We have a real false image of how Yahuwah Alahym really is. That man do not play no games. Do you know what I'm saying? He's a merciful God. He's a just God. But he do not play no games. You know what I'm saying? He is no one to be played with. He's no one to be sized. He's no one to be tried. He ain't with it. You know what I'm saying? This man is so smooth with it that he will let you believe a lie because that's what you want to believe, and he'll let you go on like that.
Well, I'm saying, a lot of people got mixed messages of the word.
Indeed.
You're like, what you telling me, somebody gave me so many different interpretations.
I would imagine.
So that's why I'm telling you that a lot of people my age and younger or older, they confuse even the older people.
Oh, I know.
And as a matter of fact, the crazy thing about it, and the sad thing about it, is that it's really, we like really need the older people because once they know something for a long period of time, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not gonna change their belief when they 50 and 60. So how can somebody get somebody like my granddad to see?
You can't. Only y'all can do it. That's not your place or your job. You can't. You can't even get nobody your age to believe it. Y'all has to open their heart to do it. All you can do is give an individual the information and let y'all do as he see fit. We can't make anybody believe anything. That's why he told his apostles, if they don't want to accept your testimony, dust your feet off on them as a testimony against them, because y'all is not on that come at somebody and make them believe it and force them to believe it. He doesn't operate like that.
So if Jesus wasn't a woman and Jesus was hungry, would you say it was a sin for people to tease Jesus with food?
Yeah, he tell you don't tempt him.
I thought so. Just general question.
Yeah. Say don't tempt y'all, but when he was in the flesh, he wasn't Alahym. At that point, he was a man. He didn't become Alahym again until he resurrected from the dead. While he was walking the planet, he was a man. He just spoke as if he was God before it happened. Because that's the confidence that he had in his father, that his father would fulfill every promise that he made to him. Most of us don't have that type of confidence in Alahym to speak about those things that are not as if they are before they actually occur. Because that's how much you trust him. You know what I'm saying? Because the master, while he was in the flesh, he was not God. He was a man. You know what I'm saying? Because God can't be tempted with sin. The book tell you that. But yet you see where the master said, you were those that were with me in my temptations. Because he was a man. And people don't like to hear this, but y'all know I done told y'all this many times. That man could have sinned at any given point while he was in the flesh. His belief and his fear for his father is what kept him from sin. And that's let us know that, because that's what people excuse me. See, he was God in the flesh. That's why he didn't sin. No, he was a man. You know what I'm saying? He was a man. That man came through a woman's vagina. He was flesh and blood, because Alahym can't die. You know what I'm saying? He was a man. But the way he spoke as if he was already God, because he already know. My daddy told me he ain't going to suffer me to see corruption. Shoot, what you mean? Oh, I'll be back on the third. He didn't state it as if it might happen. He was telling them like this was going to happen. That's why they couldn't understand none of the stuff he was talking about, because he was talking like it had already happened. You know they're going to kill me, right? Peter said, oh, no, this ain't going to happen to you. Get behind me, Satan, because you bugging. It's going to happen, though. It's got to go down. What he told him when he pulled that sword out, he said, Peter, put that thing up, man. How the scriptures going to be fulfilled? Because they didn't know. That's what you got to understand. The apostles did not know that the whole book was about him and that the things in the text were written about him. So they didn't know. They didn't even know the book said he would resurrect from the dead. That's in the 20th chapter of John. They said they didn't even know.
That's what's crazy. How they believe so much.
Because they trusted it, because they knew he had it. They just didn't have no understanding.
That's what I'm saying.
They knew he was the son of Alahym based on his word and what he did. But the intricate details of the plan, they didn't know. That's how you know their faith was better than ours, because we got more information than they had, and they believed on the strength of this man's word. They didn't have the whole testimony at the first. They didn't have that. They got that after. That's why I be telling you, you wouldn't have wanted to been alive before this man died and resurrected from the dead. You better be glad you were born when you were born.
I think that's another way you know you chose it too. Cause I couldn't tell you why I believe. Cause I know I didn't even know. I can
sit back and tell you, I wasn't raised. My mama right there. Never been in no Sunday service ever. Never. It wasn't never good up. We going to church today. I ain't fooled with that. I ain't believing none of that. And I'm gonna tell you what I ain't believing. I felt like all them white people were lying. You know what I'm saying? Then coming up as a child, you started throwing me in my face that he white. I don't believe that. My honest feeling as a small child is if God's white, I'd rather go to hell. That's how I felt as a child. If he white, I'd rather go to hell. Because how these people treat us, I don't want to be with no God who will treat me like this.
Okay, let me ask you this now. Has like
I did.
so
I ain't mad at you now, but that's how I felt.
Hey, that's real though. I mean, you gotta respect that.
So now I'm more
I ain't mad at it.
concerned. I'm more concerned about the babies right here and the kids in elementary and middle school, because their lifestyle is a lot different from like I was in middle school. Like, you know what I'm saying? So have you seen that video of the Jay-Z OJ story?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like because Jay-Z is got more money and that he's high power, that he may work a little bit more?
No.
I believe that the people, tell me it's a class thing. Everybody who still, it's
right.
like this. If you accepting anything from the government or anything like that, they're keeping you here. It's a class thing, I'm telling you. And so I feel like Jay-Z, he might be doing his own thing, but he peeped in on what's really going on and what they have planned. That's not saying.
Man, he's a nigga. Them crackers ain't telling him nothing.
Oh, no, he knows. Listen, that's what the video is about. It's still a nigga. He know that. And the same with OJ. You know what I'm saying? So, but
OJ knows nothing. OJ is stupid and ignorant.
no,
I don't know, cause I don't know OJ.
Jay-Z used OJ as an example, even though because you know how he killed or whatever happened. He made a book and said if I did, that's what got him in trouble. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying, I feel like people who got money, who have money and they're connected to those people who got money, they know stuff too. That's not saying that God won't tell us spiritually what's really going on, or just because they have stuff planned. For example, I feel like movies. I feel like our government puts like what they got planned through movies and through television.
All right, check it, right?
They kind of got us.
I'm gonna be honest with you, right? We used to be on that stuff real hard, right? Man, a lot of that stuff, man, be false as the day is long. Niggas ran videos back when that Batman movie came out. They gonna blow up an NFL stadium. No, but I'm talking about like them put.
But see, I see where you going, but see.
What I'm saying is a lot of that stuff that we be thinking because they put it in, like that story OJ song. What you talking about, man? That nigga ain't even really get that deep on that record. All the nigga said was, "I'm not black, I'm OJ." Okay, after that nigga was talking about something totally different.
No, see, y'all missing it. Y'all still missing it. It's the video. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I seen the video, but the video basically, nigga, you still a nigga, Sambo nigga, shuck and jive and dance for me. That's it.
Okay, think about it like this.
And that nigga 5%er.
You know about God. He don't say
He's a 5% as far as what?
5%.
That's his religion.
That nigga 5% on.
5% is the nations of gods of the earth. They Muslims. Yes, sir.
But my thing is this. I feel like Jay-Z feel like
1 Corinthians 1:21.
I got like this. I feel like Jay-Z know that we as black people, in order for us to really come out of this slavery, we gotta pack our stuff and go somewhere else. Did you see it in the video?
I mean, man, I don't really care about that video. It really wasn't that deep.
See, you can interpret it how I want, or we can make a big change like that. But my thing is, I caught in the video how he said,
You can't say Jay-Z, bro. He don't know words, bro.
But listen though, but it's the video behind it.
I mean, but I'm gonna tell you, like I said, we're gonna move on past that point. But one thing about art can be interpreted however the person who's viewing wants to interpret it. Because it's art. You know what I'm saying? That means it's subjective and objective.
So y'all don't think that the reason why we are still enslaved, the reason why we are in mental slavery, and the reason why a lot of us can't get beyond that point, like for example, like Bill Cosby, he almost hit that threshold, but
cause you a nigga. Let me say, because I got to kill all it, because we got to move forward, because I can't spend all this time on this here, because they came here for something else. We can talk about that when we're done. But the point of the matter is, you a nigga. See, you were brought here on a boat. Hold on, listen to me. With chains on, and put in subjection on another group of people. Why on God's green earth would they ever let you become equal with them? That would defeat the purpose.
And that's all over the world. You are just a slavery over here.
You gotta understand that. Bill Cosby, they're not gonna let this nigga buy NBC. For what? Why would you do that? Guess what? If I was white, I wouldn't let him buy it. That's dumb. Only niggas sell their companies to another race of people. White people don't do that. You know why? Because they got some sense. The black dude that owned the Bevel Razor Company said they offer big, and all these people offered this man hundreds of millions of dollars to sell him his company. And you know what he told him? No. Because I'm not going to sell you what's mine to you. Bill Gates will never sell you Microsoft.
Let me tell you, the fact that Jay-Z made the song, Jay-Z knows that we are kings. That's the point.
Man, Jay-Z going to hell.
Right. Everybody knows.
Man, come on. 1 Corinthians 1:21. Man, that's it, man. Let's stop engage. Let's leave that alone. Guess what? No, guess what? Israel Samuels can say black people are kings. That don't mean anything.
It means a lot, though. I'm trying to get to the point.
Talk about him, we don't already know, bro.
But I'm telling you, check it right. I got the album. The nigga is not spitting nothing deep on the album.
I just mentioned that video.
Okay, that video ain't really that deep, because the whole point of the video and the song is no matter what level of success or status you get in this country, you still a nigga.
The point that I'm trying to get you to see.
Trick Daddy had a song about that.
The white, they gave us that name, bro. We were kings and kings before that. I believe.
No, guess what? No, we weren't though. Most of our people were not. No. I'm telling you what. I'm honest with you. Listen, in this book, we follow this book. Majority of our people were not kings. They weren't. They were regular people. Whole bunch of servants. What we read about is the kings amongst the people of Yasharal. All our people want. How can everybody be a king? Who ruling then?
Okay. I want to talk about a solution.
Okay, but I got to deal with that afterwards, because I got to deal with what we came here for. Or these people going to cut me.
No, this is going into.
No, you're not understanding. If I don't deal with what we came here for, I'm going to be injured. I don't want to be injured. Yeah, you got to wait. See, that nigga done pulled his knife out. Come on, 1 Corinthians 1:21. I got to fit. I got to do what we came here for. I'm talking about when we get done, man, we can have whatever conversation you want to have. But I got to finish what we came here for.
I want people.
I mean, they ain't going nowhere. They going to be right there. But I got to finish this, though. I mean.
You won't be the one to leave.
Yeah, we ain't got nothing to do with that. 1 Corinthians 1:21. And we got to finish what we came here for. 1 Corinthians 1:21. Just sitting with the point where he talking about rich people having this and having that.
1 Corinthians 1:21.
Yeah, man.
For after that, in the wisdom of Alahym, the world by wisdom knew not Alahym.
See, the world that's the whole key thing what he was talking about. Jay-Z or them certain rich people can have all that wisdom and all that knowledge and still don't know God. Go ahead.
It pleased Alahym by the foolishness
of preaching to do what?
To save them that believe.
Go ahead.
For the Yahudim require a sign.
And the Greek want what?
They seek wisdom.
And what else?
But we preach the Mashiach crucified unto the Yahudim
a stumbling block.
A stumbling block.
Come on.
And unto the Greeks foolishness. But unto them that are called, both Yahudim and Greek.
That's good. That's good, because he go back to Epistle of Jude. Because remember what he told you. We didn't read it down. He said he chose the base things of the world to confound the wise. See, he gonna get low things. That's in 1 Corinthians chapter 1. We start at verse 21. You can just finish the whole chapter out. Epistle of Jude, though, wherever you start that. Huh?
We at verse
Epistle of Jude, verse what?
12.
Verse 12.
It says, "These are spots in your feast of
Hold on, you
charity."
might have skipped out verse 10 because we was coming there for the Enoch verse.
Nah, he right after Korah.
We're at verse 12. It says, "These are spots in your feast of charity, when the feast of you feeding themselves without fear, clouds they are without water, carried about of winds, trees whose fruits are withered, without fruit, twice dead, plucked up by the roots,
With them animal crackers?
raging waves of the sea, foaming out of their own shame, wandering stars, to whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesies of these, saying, Behold, Yahuwah cometh with 10,000s of his saints."
This is why he sit back and he tell you that you ain't got the battle is not yours. Because he coming with 10,000 of his Kadeshim. Same thing that Zechariah told you that he would come with a whole army. You ain't got to fight no battle. Y'all gonna fight that battle. Come on back to 2nd Chronicles. Anything about somebody when here eating Popeyes? That was you, huh?
You hungry?
No, there's an orange box in that trash can. Oh, Dunkin' Donuts. No, definitely not.
Trash watching?
No, I mean I just turned my head and seen the orange box. I'm definitely not hungry for Popeyes. I'll tell you that. Maybe a biscuit. But you definitely better have a beverage or some jelly on that biscuit.
A biscuit with some water.
If you ain't got no fluids, you better have some jelly on that biscuit, boy. We'll take you to the emergency room.
2nd Chronicles 20.
20 and 20.
20 and 20. 20 and 23.
Yeah, 20 and 20.
The children of Ammon and Moab stood up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir, utterly to slay and destroy them. And when they had made an end of the inhabitants of Seir, everyone helped to destroy another. And when Yehuda came towards the watchtower in the wilderness, they looked into the multitude, and behold, they were dead bodies.
They were what?
Dead bodies falling to the earth.
You know, it's a verse in Jeremiah where he tell you that there be dead bodies from one end of the earth to the other. Now this is a foreshadowing of what's going to go down at the end, because we know that he told you that it's going to be dead bodies everywhere. Now this, of course, is a different event, and you got to leave markers down there so niggas pick that dead body up and bury it. And who remember what the purpose is of burying all those dead bodies?
They're cleansing out the land.
And what? For y'all to get there, because he can't dwell in no unclean place. We got to get them bodies up under the ground. You know what I'm saying? This is one other reason why when the lake of fire come and they get tossed out, that's a purification thing. Toss you out and burn you. Now I can do it. Like, y'all can't be around no uncleanliness whatsoever. That's why when we read that last night, nothing unclean can't come in this house. We got guards at the door. That's why I say nothing defiled. Because if you're defiled and you step in there, it's not only going to consume you, it's going to consume everything that's around him. You know what I'm saying? This is what I mean. Like, y'all ain't nobody to be played with. That's what it's going to be a lot of people be saved, but relative to the whole world's population over the course of time, it's going to be a very small number. Very, very small number. Go ahead.
You say.
So right now, do you think that if you were to go around and start like talking about this in different like schools or not school, because there's no way you can't do it in the school because they got that whole thought. They got that. But I'm saying, I mean, if you were to like go to malls and stuff, do you think that people would like follow? Like, how would you get somebody to follow what you're saying?
I can't get them to do anything.
But I'm saying no. You can get somebody to do anything. You can like.
No, I can't. I can't.
It's kids out there who get millions of followers.
Because you know why they get millions of followers? Because they're buying into whatever he's talking about.
Right. So
I can't. All I can do is put it out there. If they buy in, they buy in. If they don't, they don't. Because guess what? Just like that person got 1 million followers, it was another 500,000 people that saw what he was talking about and chose not to follow.
Probably 10 million followers.
You know what I'm saying? You can't.
How many friends you got on Facebook?
Like 1,300.
Okay. This is a billion people in this world. So even if you was to post, how many people do you think are going to get that?
I don't know. I don't even care.
There's a lot more people that they rather do wrong than
But at the end of the day, though, man, but I've known this my entire life. You cannot make anybody do anything they don't want to do.
It ain't making them. It's just getting exposed to it.
Okay, that's the whole point. I can expose you to it. Everybody in this room know that there were people who done been in here with us before. They heard it and they left because they didn't want to do it.
Honestly, prime example.
Or he just didn't believe.
Will was on campus every day. We was on campus with
I remember.
him every day. You know how many people tried to stop it? How many people was just like, that nigga was crazy.
But see,
We tried that.
at that time, y'all was on campus, bro. I didn't catch what y'all.
Exactly.
I showed up.
So
I didn't
you
know
weren't
what
the
y'all.
only one.
Oh, that's the same thing.
So I left because I just thought.
I just realized that.
You don't deny it, boy. You don't deny it.
Exactly.
So
I just realized, you know, I can't see.
Go.
Exactly.
I thought I was a whole different nigga.
So you gotta have it.
Oh, my lamb.
So you gotta-
I thought I was a whole different nigga. Nothing.
Hey, bro. I want to laugh, bro.
You know how long it took me to realize that?
That's what I'm like.
I gotta take. See, I'm trying
Wow.
to ask questions before I use the rest of them. I really want to listen. You know what I'm saying? Because
I'm getting old, man.
Bro, come on.
So
Shoot, I am.
I'm doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying?
I understand that, but listen what I'm telling you though. I can't make nobody do nothing. Guess what? Yahushua himself didn't try to make nobody do nothing. Yah himself didn't try to make nobody do nothing. He told them, tell them whether they heal, whether they forbear.
But he drew a crowd though.
Guess what? And some of them didn't listen. So what you can draw a crowd? Nigga, if you put a woman standing outside the middle of the street, butt boogie nigga, she gonna draw a crowd. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean nothing. It ain't nothing to draw a crowd. It's how many people gonna take the information and capitalize it and use it. Anybody can, it's nothing to draw a crowd. We live in America. Niggas drawing crowds for dancing on street corners, holding signs, talking about come shop here. Niggas getting crowds. It's nothing to draw a crowd. Come on, man. Lil Yachty got crowds. You know what I'm saying? That's nothing. That's nothing. Come on, man.
What you want?
Where we at?
You laughed at that, man. I want to laugh too. What you talking about?
Second Chronicles 20.
Huh?
Second Chronicles 20.
Go ahead. You do got a crowd.
You're right, though. You're right.
I mean, that's why I said people got crowds, man.
But drawing a crowd doesn't mean that people are taking in the information. It's not about drawing a crowd. Hamashiach drew a lot of crowds, and 99.9% of them did not believe anything he said or followed him. He drew a lot of crowds.
All right, I'm getting ready.
Yeah, do your thing.
This right.
We're not waiting. Carry on.
You right, man.
Y'all know why I laugh, bro? Wayne didn't even know that was the same dude from last.
I couldn't tell.
That's why.
You know I can't see.
That's why I was like, get out.
I'm dying.
That's why I was like, get out, bro.
I didn't realize that. I'm like, oh, that's that nigga from the other day. Asking all them questions. He wasn't here.
Oh yeah, you wasn't. That's why I wasn't that funny.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sitting here like,
Yeah, he did the same thing. I'm thinking it was a whole different person. Go ahead.
he can't. I know he can't.
And you think I'm capping, but unfortunately, I am not. I am definitely
Yeah,
serious.
Second Chronicles.
Graveyard serious.
That's what made it funny, though.
That's what I was laughing about.
Cause he had no hat on last time.
Well, you don't have a hat on now, but let's continue.
And-
Fly. It say, and when Jehoshaphat and his people came to take away the spoil of them, they found among the abundance both riches and dead bodies, and precious jewels which they stripped off.
They found what?
Precious jewels which they stripped
But they said they
off
found
of
riches and
themselves.
dead body. Don't the book tell you that we'll do that the same thing too? When the master come back? Dead bodies and riches. And guess what? Then we do that when we came up out to eat. Let me get them jewels you got over there, cuz. I need a little bit of those. Snag him. Go ahead, cuz I can't even hit it out, cuz dang, if I would have realized, trust me, if I'd have realized who that was, I'd have cut that short a long time ago.
It says more than they could carry away, and they were 3 days in gathering of the spoil. It was so much. It says, and on the 4th day they assembled themselves in the valley of Berakah.
Hold on, read that 25 again.
It says, and Jehoshaphat and his people.
Okay, you finished that. My apologies. Revelation 21 and 23. Elizabeth, don't let your sister get you in trouble.
It say, and the city had no need for sun, neither of moon to shine, for the esteem of Yahuwah did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their esteem, and honor unto it.
That's why they had to bring in their esteem and honor. They alive and get to bring it. We get that esteem. Don't you know that? Read them Psalm 68 and 29 real fast. Just Psalm 68 and 29.
Psalm 68, verse 25.
68 and 29. That's just how he did that.
29.
Hi.
29?
Yeah.
It says, because of the temple at Jerusalem shall kings bring presents unto thee.
Because of the temple where?
At Jerusalem.
That's what you're seeing in Revelation.
Shall kings bring
You know why we got to spoil these people for their goods? Because it belonged to Yah. And Yah say he got to give that to his people. Come on back to 2 Chronicles 20 though. We won't get to your has this week. Y'all willing we get to him next week. But y'all done gave that boy a haircut. Look like he got a haircut. Hezekiah. I said look like. No, I'm blind. Come on, man. It's 4:30. We got enough time to hear.
It says 2 Chronicles 20 and 26.
2 Chronicles 20 and 26, everybody.
And on the fourth day they assembled themselves in the valley of Berkah, for they baruch Yahuwah, and the name of the place was called Berkah.
Abigail.
Unto this day. Then they returned every man of Yehuda and Jerusalem, and Jehoshaphat in the forefront of them to go again to Jerusalem with joy.
Now let's go to Revelation 19, because that's what we had to go back for you to see why they were rejoicing. We know that the rejoicing with Babylon is because Babylon has been destroyed, and Yah is the cause of the destruction. And now we're seeing Revelation 19 and 1 of the people rejoicing because of the destruction of their enemies.
And after these things I heard a great voice of the people in Shamayim saying, Hallelujah, salvation and esteem and honor and power unto Yahuwah our Alahym.
Don't you think they were making all that praise when in the time of Jehoshaphat? Go ahead.
It says, for true and righteous are his judgments. For he hath judged the great whore.
Judged the great whore.
Which did corrupt the earth with her fornication.
You stinking slut.
And having avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. Mm-hmm. And again they said, Hallelujah, and her smoke rose up forever and ever.
Notice it said that Alahym avenged you. Not that you did it, right? Mm-hmm. Just sit back and watch the salvation of your Alahym. He'll make it do what it do. Go ahead.
And the 4 and 20 elders.
That's good. Come on back to Chronicles. Now what we're going to look at when we coming into the end of this is that Yah did all of this and Jehoshaphat finna turn around and be stupid.
28.
What you from Britain, nigga?
29.
28. What, you want some tea and crumpets?
It says, and the fear of Alahym was on all kingdom of those countries.
Hold on, the fear of Alahym was where?
In all kingdoms.
Don't you think the fear of Alahym gonna be in all kingdoms at the return of Yahusha? Go ahead.
When they had heard that Yahuwah fought against the enemies of Yasharal.
And that's what Zechariah was talking about. These people gonna sit there and be still. Because Hamashiach coming back to fight against all our enemies. Come on.
So the realm of Jehoshaphat was quiet, for his Alahym gave him rest round
and guess
about.
what? Guess what? Let's read it. Revelation 20 and 4. Don't you think all the earth would be at quiet? That he'll give Hamashiach peace and quiet? Sai, why are you crying?
But I go back to the law because once you make me get married.
Yeah. You got to rest for a little while. I can't send you out the world. You just took your wife. Go ahead and cheer up. You know, pat her on the head, tell everything gonna be all right.
Revelation 20 and 4. It says, and I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of Alahym, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their forehead or their hands. And they lived and reigned with the Mashiach 1,000 years. It says, but the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection.
That 1,000 years, what's going to be going on?
Peace.
Let's look at that in Ezekiel 37, 38, and 9.
I'm having trouble with the connection. Please.
Ezekiel 38 and 9.
38. It says, thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land. thou and thy bands, and many people with thee. Thus said Yahuwah Alahym, it shall come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And thou shalt say, I will go up into the land of unwalled
villages,
and I will go unto them that are at rest.
At rest. When Mashiach come back, we're going to be at rest. Peace and quiet round about. Come over here to 2 Peter 3, right? 3 and 10, I should say. Abigail. Hey, Abigail.
2 Peter 3 verse 10. It says, but chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government, presumptuous are they.
That's the key thing of what you talking about. You know why a lot of people are not going here? Because they despise the authority of Alahym and they prefer to walk in the flesh. Read that verse again. This is why a lot of people ain't going to make it.
It says, them that walk after the flesh.
So when you walk after the flesh, we know Romans 8 already says that those that are in the flesh cannot please Alahym. We talked about this last night, that the soul that sin, it shall die. So most people will not hearken to the word because the flesh feels. See, if you're a whore, you don't want to stop sleeping with multiple women and just marry one woman. You know what I'm saying? If you're a fornicator, you don't want to actually commit to one woman and make her your wife. You want to sleep with people when you feel like it. See, when you're a liar, you don't want to tell the truth. When you steal, you don't want to not put your hands on things that don't belong to you. If you're an idolater, you feel like I can worship whatever I want to worship. Like they had a Family Guy episode, they may have been clowning, but it shows what people do in America. In that episode, Peter Griffin made a church to the Fonz. And people actually came. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? There's people who created a church to Beyonce. Yeah, and Beyonce ain't got nothing to do with it. She can't stop them. Yeah. But you got people who made a church to Beyonce. That Beyonce is their God. They worship a woman who bleeds and poops and urinates just like they do. And the only reason you deified this woman is because you like the way she sings and dances.
And the way she makes you feel.
It's make you feel on the inside. That's a good. Guess what?
That's what a lot of people do. It's the way they make them feel.
Yeah, they make them feel.
So, do you think when most people hear this, they walk away because they don't want to hear it, or they just didn't understand it? Because everybody interprets different.
Both.
I believe it's more so they don't understand because they were taught differently. So
some?
My reason, I walked in, you know,
my nigga.
I was like, okay. And then I heard Will say something, I was standing there, let me stand. I came several times. I was trying to do too much.
Yeah, you didn't want to do it.
I was trying to do too much on campus. I was trying to do too much.
You didn't want to do it.
I couldn't just focus in.
You didn't want to do it.
I mean, or I just wanted to hear it. Like
you didn't want to do it. Like this just be a man and say what it is. You didn't want to do it.
If you really want to do it, you would have stopped doing what you were doing
and focused on that. You know how I know this here? Because all the other stuff you say pulled your attention away from it. You put your attention and focus on that because that's what you wanted to do at the time.
Also, I just learned some things that just kind of threw me off about.
Okay, it may have threw you off, but at the core principle, you didn't seek any deeper because what you heard, I don't want to do that.
Because I don't agree with it.
You know what I'm saying? Let's just be men. If we're going to be men, don't try to bounce around it or this, that, there. Because she asked you a direct question. What was your reason?
Right.
And you just talked in circles to tell me I didn't want to do it.
No, I didn't understand it.
But you had to see, because at that time, me, Will Stanley, and his wife, we ain't stopped since. Whatever question I had, I asked and I dug deeper. I didn't cast it to the side like, oh, I don't believe that. Because at the end of the day, if you don't believe everything that's written, then you don't believe it. So you ain't gonna do it.
And then you didn't want to do it. I ain't finna blow no smoke up your behind. You didn't want to do it. At that particular time, you didn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Man, y'all know that statement.
I'm telling you from my perspective.
Go smoke up your tailpipe.
I'm telling you, I didn't understand it.
Okay, I understand that. The book talk about that though. That he that heareth the word and understand it not, that the wicked one comes snatch away which was already sown in his heart, which is meaning that person didn't want to do it.
But at the same time, I look at it like this.
Hold on, let me give you a little grammatical explanation. Every time you say but, you're eliminating everything that you said before that. So that means anything you said before that, it pretty much counts. Which means you're selling me a big load of bovine excrement right now. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what you're doing.
I mean, but listen, I heard that before. But is a filler word sometimes that some people use. Sometimes I use but, you know.
It would be better served to say yes.
Now listen, growing up I used to stutter a lot.
I got you.
I use but as filler words. So that's not, I mean, I get what you mean because I heard that before. You eliminate everything that is true. But I'm not.
Okay, but we got to speed this up because we on the clock, baby. We on the clock. You got to speed it up.
Bro, listen,
I mean, when I say we on the clock, we have a set time we got to be in here, and I got information that needs to be imparted, so I can't spend 45 minutes on a sidebar. So you got to get to the point of what she was asking. Okay, but I'm preaching also. The preaching trumps your conversation.
Okay, so I'm saying I didn't understand. Like,
Okay, cool. And guess what? And I told you what the word said in regards to that in Matthew 13. He says there's a seed that's sown, and he that understandeth not, the wicked one come and snatch away which was sown in his heart. Meaning that person didn't have a desire to walk in the word. Clearly, if your heart has been moved to seek it now, that may not be the case with you completely. Because you may have not been able to handle that at that particular time. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you were more consumed with earthly matters than the word. And there's no shame in saying that. That's where you were at the time.
Oh yeah, I was doing it.
That's what I'm saying. There's no shame in that. That's not no ridicule of you. There's a lot of people who heard the word and they didn't latch on to it. This man heard it and left. You know what I'm saying? There's no ridicule in that.
It's like, yeah, I can't really say because we was in the library and everything. So I mean, in the library.
Let's keep on going. Go ahead. No, I was just stating the point of why people don't hear. It be the flesh, and mainly they despise authority. When you look at most people don't want nobody telling them what to do. But you know what the crazy part is? You go to Mr. Charlie Job, punch in, and gladly do whatever this white man tell you to do. Because people shame themselves for pennies every day.
Okay, for example, I had to come back multiple times to understand what you were trying to say about Yahweh.
And that's cool.
But see, my thing is, how do you want to get to those people
we tell them where we at, and we tell them to come through.
You came back and you wanted to.
Right.
They'll come back.
That's because I taught something that
And that's the whole key point. All we doing is, it's like fishing, right? When you throw that line in that water, you might catch a fish and pull him out. Somebody might ride past that worm and say, nigga, you ain't gonna get me. And they keep on going.
And it's only that fish that really want that bait that's gonna bite.
That's gonna bite. Then you pull them up and you bring them to the house. And that's how it is with the word. That's why he told him I make you fishers of men. The word is the bait. I'm just throwing it out there.
Might throw out there and don't catch nothing.
Might not catch nothing. Might come back with a baby fish. Might come back with a swordfish. Might come back with a bass. Who knows? An albatross. Who knows? Oh, my bad. I'm thinking about them. What do you mean, a kingfish? Yeah. Bird, mean bird in that. I would think about another fish starting with A. You know, but tell me what fish it was then, old smart old nigga. Help me out. Come on, man.
We at 2 Peter 2:11.
You 3 and 10, sir.
Yeah, 3 and 2.
Hey, Lizzie.
It said, but the day of Yahuwah will come like a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person ought ye to be in all holy conversation?
All set apart behavior.
Looking for and hasting unto the coming day of Yahuwah, of Alahym, whereas the heavens shall be on fire, and they shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
Fervent heat.
Nevertheless, we according to the promise look for a new Shamayim.
So if you according to the promise, you looking for a new what? Listen. New Shamayim and what else?
A new earth.
And a new earth and what else?
Wherein dwelleth righteousness.
So you looking for a place where there dwells peace, where you can rest with Alahym. If you come on here, boy. Call all that crying. Come on back.
Wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such things, be diligent that ye may be found of him in shalom, without spot and blameless.
That's good. So knowing that if you desire to dwell in this place of rest, then you need to be found without any sin on you. See, that's another example where we talk about. He said you got to be found without spot and blameless. Let's go ahead and give him that in Job chapter 11, verse 13. What we talking about here. And after that, Ephesians chapter 5. Because you can't get in the kingdom with any spots or blemishes on you. Come in, Lizzie.
Job chapter 11, verse 13. It says, if thou prepare thine heart and stretch out thy hand towards him, if iniquity be in my hand, put it far away, and let not wickedness dwell in thy tabernacle.
Don't let wickedness dwell in your mortal body. He said, stretch out. Hold on, read that again.
It says, if iniquity be in thy hand, put it far away.
If iniquity be in your hand, put it far away. And what does he tell you to do?
And let not wickedness dwell.
Hold on, didn't he say to stretch out your hands to him?
Stretch out your hands towards him.
Now, how does this pertain to the master if he tell you to stretch out your hands? Yeah, you sacrificing yourself. Don't you realize if he was pinned up on the stake, his hands had to be stretched out? So that means he's basically telling you what Romans 12 and 2 say, to offer yourself as a living sacrifice. If you offer yourself as a living sacrifice, then you will put iniquity out of your hand, and wickedness will not dwell in your mortal body. This is why he say those that despise authority or government and walk in the flesh, that's why they won't hear. Because they know this, because we talk about this regularly. The book is based on two solid principles: service and sacrifice. Service to Alahym, and then your neighbor, and then offering yourself up to Alahym. Most people don't want to sacrifice, because to sacrifice something means you have to lose something. See, nobody don't want to lose anything. That's why he say, what gain of a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul?
I got a question. How do you mean?
Huh?
I thought it was Yahweh.
Say what?
I thought it was Yahweh.
He asked about Alahym.
Yeah, because you just said a different name. And I'm going to tell you.
Alahym is not a name.
But I'm saying, like, for example, I heard Yahweh. That's part of what it was. I heard Yahweh when I was in family. I was just like, oh, man.
I mean, that's just depending
I
on.
didn't know.
But see, when somebody say Yahweh or Yahweh or Yahuwah, it's just based off the derivative of Hebrew that they use. That's it. That's all that is. Ain't really nothing extra to that. That's just the derivative of Hebrew that they use and how they pronounce it.
Like tomato.
To a certain extent, yeah.
To a certain extent. But that's not the same, because it's spelled the same.
Yeah, it is spelled the same. But it's the pronunciation, like we can read in Judges with the shibboleth. You know what I'm saying?
Shibboleth.
That's it. You know what I mean? But finish that out, sir.
But Alahym only tells me.
Yeah, Alahym just to say God, that's not a name. Nevertheless, he's quiet. Let's just go.
You was going on expanding.
Yeah, we've already expanded. Continue on, sir.
Okay. It says, for then shalt thou lift up thy face without spot.
Without what?
Without spot. Yea, thou shalt be steadfast, and thou shalt not fear.
So when you stretch out your hands and put this iniquity out of your hand and remove sin out of your mortal body, then you can be steadfast in what you're doing, and you can be without spot. Ephesians 5 and 25.
Ephesians 5 and 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as the Mashiach loved the assembly and gave his life for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of the water by the word, that he might present unto it himself an esteemed assembly, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing.
No spots, no wrinkles,
or any such thing, but that it should be kadosh or holy and without blemish.
no sin on it. No sin on it. None. Because it can't enter in. Nothing that defiles can get in. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. That's one of the biggest things that people tell you, that he'll take you. God said, come as you are. Where is that in the book? How many of y'all were taught that the book say, come as you are?
Come as you are, no matter from my boss.
That's nowhere in the text. Nowhere. It's nowhere in there. Matter of fact, this man say repeatedly, before you come under him, leave that nasty junk you got what you at the door.
And days.
He said, wash you, make you clean. Cease from doing evil from before my eyes. Learn to do well and execute judgment. That man never told you come as you are. That man, he told Cain that. That nigga brought him that ragged old sacrifice. He say, look here, man. He say, man, hey, man, what you mad for? He say, if you do well, won't you be accepted? He say, sin lay at the door. He ain't tell that man come as you are. He say, nigga, why you brought me that? You knew better than to bring me this raggedy crap. You just tried to slide in on me, man. You know what I'm talking about? That's the stuff that, and what it do is it gets you comfortable in being contrary. You won't have an impetus to change your life because you comfortable. Everybody make you feel good about being like this, but it's crazy. Go ahead.
Can I use Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow as an analogy, and then?
Yeah.
Okay. But when you say come as you are, I think he's meaning like, hey, look, even if you just went to the club last night or you come.
It's not in the book, bro. It's not in the book.
Okay. Where's in the book? Where's in the book where it says you gotta wear a shirt and suit and tie that you do?
No, I ain't saying that, bro.
No, bro. When they say come as you are, they talking about you could be this, that, there, and the third. You could be a sinner, but that man say you got to put that up off of you to come near to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm calling you to put that stuff up off of you. You can't approach to me with that on you. That's what we saying. You know what I'm saying? When people talk about come as you are, they talking about how you dressed. That man ain't never made no statement about how you dress. He don't care.
He's talking about your heart.
He talking about your heart. But what we talking about is people say come as you are, meaning you can come to church and be a whore and stay like that. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's all about your heart.
If you're a whore, then your heart is filthy. Your heart is represented, your actions are representative of what's in your heart. What you do shows what's on the inside. You know what I'm saying? If you tell lies, that means inside you are a deceitful, untrustworthy, unfaithful individual. You know what I'm saying? If you're a whoremonger, that means you are a perverse individual. No different than a homosexual. You're perverse. You like to participate in depravity. You know what I'm saying? Where you find that funny, man? That's not no big word.
Disrespect.
What you mean? You niggas got college educations.
That nigga got a couple.
Shoot, nigga. I ain't got no degree. Them people told me stop. Don't come back here no more. So all you want to do is smoke weed and sell rocks. Don't you come back around here no more. For real. People said, don't you come around here. You barely come to class. I only went to college for the check. Once they started cutting that check, boy, I took that last check and bought some rocks and never went back. For real. I'm dead serious.
Sorry for laughing so long.
Hey, shoot, I ain't mad at you. That's a true story, though. That's a true story, though. Boy, I took that FSCJ check and went to Drew House and said, nigga, get that nigga around here. You know what I'm talking about? I need some work. Straight up. Go ahead, man. Come back to 2 Chronicles 20, man. 20 and 31. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm just telling you the truth. That's what I did.
I will go out everywhere.
I was told, Bible study is where we can interact, you know what I'm saying? Because if you was in the pulpit, then we can't just interact.
Well, truth be told, man, scripturally, they never interrupted the person who was teaching the word. They knew that they were supposed to wait till it's over. That's a contemporary thing.
That's what I'm saying in church. I'm talking about.
I ain't talking about in church. I'm talking about the book.
Right, but I'm saying like meetings like this.
I'm talking about in the book, in meetings like this in somebody's house. When the word was coming, the people were quiet. They didn't open their mouth till it was over. Like they didn't sit back and be like, Paul, let me ask you this. When he was in the people's house, they waited till it was over with. That's how Buddy fell off that roof. Say Paul was in the house long preaching. You think they were in it? That man was preaching 8, 12 hours. Cuz on the roof sleep. Bam! Fell off the roof. They say, hey boy, don't worry. Huh? He said he ain't dead yet. Hold on, I'm finna get him. You know what I'm saying? And people don't even preach that long no more. There's some Hebrew congregations that I know of.
They really don't.
That on the Sabbath day, them boys start at 11 o'clock in the morning, and them boys go till 8 o'clock at night. But I'm gonna be honest with you. That's what your ancestors did, though. They started from when the sun came up and went till it was over.
They was sleeping when you was preaching too, though.
Yeah, they did. Shoot, no, they wasn't. Not how he was preaching. While he was praying.
Okay.
When he was in there praying, Peter and them had them fell asleep on him. That's why he said, "Well, you can't watch me." He wasn't even preaching. Them niggas fell asleep. He said, "Go ahead and take your rest, baby."
What was that story? It was packed and they were trying to get the nigga in there.
Oh, that's when they were packed. They were trying to bring cuz down on through the roof to get healed. To get healed. So you say every time we come in here, man, say we gonna drop him through the roof, baby. Slide him through the roof. Somebody he gonna get healed today. I'm tired of waiting. He said every time I come down the pool, somebody jump in there before I get in there. So we gonna drop him through the roof.
Yeah.
So, what about do you think that God respects that person, or do you think He looks at
Yeah, verse 30.
For example, if
Chapter
a man, if like he was trying to feed his family and he lost his job or whatever, and he had to hustle and sell rocks like you said,
No, he don't respect that because you should have leaned on him and trusted him. So no, he don't respect that. That's just a nigga excuse.
But you say we don't trust him, but faith without works is dead.
Okay, that sound real good, but you know what you sound like? A nigga.
Yeah. Okay, so you gonna pray and just wait on him.
He ain't say nothing about that man say, see this what this said. What's the verse I used to tell y'all? I used to tell people in the street to see where their faith was at. Y'all know what verse I'm talking about? Who remember?
What you talking about?
In Matthew chapter 6, right? He told you to do what? Take no thought for your life.
Oh, yeah, the birds know what they're going.
You know what I'm saying? Because you know I put it like this here, right? See, she's a parent. He's a parent. He's a parent. And you know what? Not any time do their children have to ask to tell them that they're hungry. You know why their children don't have to tell them that they're hungry? Because they feed them. See, they don't have to tell the child doesn't have to say, "Mommy, I need some new shoes. Daddy, I need a new shirt." They know that because they provide it. So when he tells you in the word, he say, "Take no thought for your life." He say, "I clothe the flowers. How much greater are you than a flower?" You know what I'm saying? This man already know what you got need of. So if you was walking in his word and trusting him, because the book say, "I have never seen the righteous do what?"
Forsaken or begging for bread.
Or begging for bread. So if you begging for bread, that means you probably ain't righteous.
So if you gotta go to that extreme to sell some rocks,
You probably ain't righteous. Because that man say he's a keeper of covenant of thousands of those that love him and keep his commandments. His covenant says that he must provide you with food and raiment. And Yahuwah is not a man that he should lie, nor the son of man that he should repent. If I say it, shall I not do it? So therefore, if you walking in him, because you can't say faith without works is dead, you go pick up some rocks, because truly you ain't got no faith in y'all to go commit no crime.
Because works is not selling rocks.
Because that ain't no work of righteousness right there. I'm going to sell a nigga a debilitating narcotic. I'm going to sell some butt. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to rock. You got some women out here prostituting?
Let me ask you this. Now, I want you to think about that. This kind of open your mind with this. The laws that were made for us here, they wasn't made, like, I feel like man made those laws.
Made what laws?
Like laws about just certain stuff about, like, as far as, like, selling stuff or whatever, because they turn around and do it. And
well, we already went over this with you, sir. The powers that be are only established because the power set them up. So any law that he allowed them to make is because he allowed them to make it.
But how do you know that those people that made the laws were devils?
If you commit sin, you a devil worshiper. So you don't have to be right here talking about, "Oh, Satan, I pray to you." If you're sinning, you a devil worshiper.
But where in the world? Okay, but see, okay, like I said, some stuff is natural. Some stuff is natural. It's like a plant, like weed is a plant. So now they make it illegal. Now they want to tax it. You know what I'm saying? But if a man, if this guy got
look at right, because I'm gonna cut this one here short. Do you know that it's actually very, very difficult to actually sell medicinal marijuana? That they're not letting any and everybody get into that. That it's not as easy to. They're gonna put everything in their way to discourage you from doing it. Because they actually listen to me, because I done heard stuff about this. They actually don't want people to do it. So the regulations are so stringent that most people are going to stop before they get to the end, because they don't really want you to sell it. And it's not designed for a nigga to do it. See, that's what see, I can tell you think them crackers care about you. They don't though. You'll never be equal with them. They'll never like you. And the first chance they get, they're gonna kill every last one of us.
Well, they think they'll be equal. See, that's the mentality.
But I'm talking about regardless of all that, man, let's deal with reality.
Yeah, and it is reality.
In America, we will never be equal with them. In Europe, we will never, anywhere where they are in power and rule, we will never be equal with them.
In their minds, let them.
No, screw their minds, nigga, that's reality.
Hold on. Who you referring to? You referring to the whites or the Asians?
All of them.
All of them.
Nigga, they all hate you.
They all hate me.
You black, ain't them?
I don't think so.
Well, hey, that's why you ain't paid the thing. Come on.
No, I'm telling you. They don't all, everybody don't hate black folks now.
What world you been living in?
This one, the same one you live
You can't have been, I've been in it 37 years, boy, and I can tell you, they hate niggas.
Listen, man.
Arabs, guess what? Arabs hate niggas. Africans hate niggas. Asians, guess what? All of them call you a nigga.
Mark, let me tell you something.
Don't nobody walk up and say, look at that upstanding black man right there. They don't want you living next to them. They come in your neighborhood and exploit you. They mock you. They kill you. They don't fool with you.
We ain't talking about little like.
We're talking about in general. Because we know we can't pigeonhole every single solitary Asian, Indian, Arab, white, and African person. That's stupidity.
Like you said, if they really hated us, if they really hated blacks, no matter who was in power in America, Obama would have never been able to make peace with all those people he made with.
Who did he make peace with, man?
You go down the line. He did go make peace with
who?
With Cuba. He went.
With Cuba? Are you serious?
He went over. Obama.
They weren't warring. They weren't warring. There was no battle. There was no fight. He just told niggas you can take a vacation to Cuba now.
He just opened up the trade.
It wasn't even no trade. Now you niggas can go to Cuba now. That's all he did.
No.
And that was after Fidel Castro died.
Cuba now want to fool with us.
All the races.
No, it wasn't really that. It wasn't really what that there was. What it was is these Caucasians in the American government did not want to let those sanctions go against Cuba because those sanctions, truth be told, were archaic. They were from a time period so long ago that there was no reason for these sanctions and this embargo to continue to be going on. I believe that too. Because this stuff came from in the 60s, man. Because they've been trying to kill Castro, they couldn't kill him. You know what I'm saying? See, they were trying to kill him and JFK. They got JFK, they couldn't get Castro.
Well, you know what? The crazy thing, and this won't hate you. If everybody hate us, then we would still be in chains, bro.
You ain't gotta be in chains.
All be in chains. Our kids, like you said, everybody. But if they really hated us, we would still be like.
I'm not even finna entertain this conversation any longer. Second Chronicles chapter 20 verse. Hey, let's just read this word real fast. Let me finish the chapter. Second Chronicles 20 and 31. I can't even continue this conversation because you're supposed to be an intelligent man and you're not talking intelligent right now.
Okay, I'm not talking. So
no, but if you saying that these people don't hate us, you are not talking intelligent.
All the races hate us.
Absolutely, unequivocally.
Just the book, man.
All hate us.
Before I knew the word, I knew every single one of them didn't mess with us.
Now let me ask you this: why do they hate us?
Cause you're black.
Is that it?
That's it.
And they Asian? I mean,
cause you're black.
Or is it other things too?
Cause you're black. Before we even get to anything, even if they don't know nothing about who our God is, you know what? And part of it is a double thing. They hate you because you're black. Some of them hate you because they know you're the children of Yasharal, so they hate your God. And then a part of that is. Dang, it just slipped out of my brain, man. Nevertheless, 2 Chronicles 20 and 31. It'll come to me when it comes to me. And maybe it's just time to get it stuff. Yeah. Oh, yes, it is actually. It's in Psalms 83.
Oh, yeah.
It's in Psalms 83. Psalms 83 say, all the nations of the earth conspired against you, and they all despised you, and they all clapped and said, this is the moment that we were waiting for. Say they all hate you. Because they hate your Alahym. Oh, this was the last thing. And then you've been made hateable by character assassination. Because how you're projected, the image of black people projected throughout the whole world. People who don't come in contact with you on a regular basis, the only way they consume how black people are is through the media. Through movies, through music, through television. You have some white people in America who've never been around black people, and their only dealings with black people is through television, and then that's why they paint negative images of you in TV and movies. No, you gotta read it. 2 Chronicles 20 and 31.
Psalms 83 and what?
The whole chapter. The whole chapter's about that.
So is it saying how?
He said they taking crafty counsel against your people and conspired against your hidden ones, and every nationality of mankind on the earth is named in that chapter. Because they said they wanted to make the name of Yasharal or Israel cease from remembrance because they hated you just that much. But in actuality, they actually despised your God. And because they couldn't get to him, we'll just take you out. Because they can't take out y'all. So they got to take out you. You understand what I'm saying? Now, this is before I knew the word, bro. I knew that these people did not love us, did not care about us. The only thing they wanted from us was our money and our women. Because them Arabs don't mess with you. They'll knock a black woman back out, though, in a heartbeat. They'll sleep with you in a heartbeat. Oh, we know the white man will do it. That goes without saying. You know what I'm saying? Them Asians don't fool with you like that. Them East Indians don't. They look down on you because you consider to be the scum of the earth. 2 Chronicles 20 and 31. Just hold this. Just be easy, B. We got 6 more verses, man. Just be easy. Cause we gonna end with Jehoshaphat, and then we can go.
And Jehoshaphat reigned over Yehuda, and he was 35 years old when he began to reign.
That's crazy, right? He was 35 years old. We're gonna read about a king. Who know the king that was 8 years old when he started to reign? Yeah, you know how young that is to rule over a kingdom? 8 years old.
They said he was co-ruling.
But regardless of what, whether he was co-ruling or not, that's a large responsibility to be thrust into at 8 years old. You don't know what he was doing. Shoot, Josiah was making moves. He was making moves. Josiah making moves. Hey. Great, please.
Y'all know my dad.
You know my dad. Come on.
Y'all know my dad. It says, it says, and he walked in the way of Asa, his father, and departed not from it, doing.
You didn't read all of that verse, sir? How long he reigned?
That's why my mind went where I was like, this don't sound.
Just start from the top, sir.
It said Jehoshaphat reigned over Yehuda. He was 30 and 5 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 20 and 5 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Azubah, and the daughter of Sheli.
Yep.
It says, and he walked in the way of Asa his father, and departed not from it, doing that which was right in the sight of Yahuwah.
Yep.
Howbeit the high places were not taken away, for as yet the people had not prepared.
You heard what he said? The high places wasn't taken away because the people had not prepared their hearts to seek Yah. You have to have your heart set on doing that. If your heart is set on doing it, then you're not going to do it. That's what it said about Ezra the scribe. He prepared his heart to seek Yah. You have to prepare your heart. Meaning you got to prepare your mind that this is what I'm going to do. See, I'm going to tell you, right? When that information came my way, I had made up my mind at that instant, at that moment, that, yeah, this is what we finna do. It wasn't no let me think about it. Oh, no. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is. This is what it's got to be. You know what I'm saying? This is what it's got to be. And then, like I told y'all numerous times, as time has went on, I have seen that the number of actual, true, righteous, earnest, Yah-seeking men is small, and the number of actual, virtuous, Yah-fearing women is even smaller. Do you know what I'm saying? And I ain't even talking about on no level of being with nobody. I'm just talking about period. Gender separation, like it ain't many people really own this in real life. It's a lot of niggas flogging. Do you know what I'm saying? And the worst part is a lot of them don't even flog well. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's a lot of them don't even pretend well. I respect the ones more that just be like, screw it, I don't want to do it, and just go ahead and do their thing. Then to act like this what you want to do week in and week out, and then you live in a whole nother life when you ain't around the people who in the word. Because that's how some people do. They live in a double life. I don't have the energy for that type of stuff. Even before, like telling lies and trying to cover this up, that's too much work. I got to watch what I say around this person and how I act around this person. Who got time for all of that? Do you know what I'm saying? That's too much work.
I was right back to Africa.
For me, that's too much work. Especially before the word. Like, nigga be cheating on their old lady and all that. I don't see how dudes do that. That's too much work. I got to cover this up and cover that up and remember this lie and all that type of stuff. I ain't got time for all that. Especially when I was young, I like to smoke. You know what I'm talking about? I'm going to forget something. I'm going to say the wrong thing. You know what I'm talking about? I'm for real, though. But people like to do that, though.
So I have a question. Do you think that blacks were enslaved by everybody because of what you said earlier?
We've been in exile and captivity pretty much under every race of people on this planet throughout history. Because see, you only know about the slave trade over here. You don't even know that the Arabs threw you on boats and enslaved you too. I'm talking about in contemporary times.
Bro, we built this whole world, bro. We built Asia, we built everything, bro.
And what is your point? And you were wicked while you were building it.
That stuff. That's why I can come. That's why I can back, because I got information too. I know information too. I know the word, but I don't know it like I haven't written the whole thing, but I do study precepts. But that's why I said what I said. When you say we hate it,
we are.
No, you gotta go for yourself. Go to other countries and see.
I ain't gotta go nowhere. Cause guess what? When I go to Japan, they might sit there and kick it with you. Nigga, they don't want you to marry their daughters, nigga. They don't want you to have children with them, nigga.
You still doing it.
That don't mean they like it.
That's not everybody. That's not.
Cause we already said that we can't. We talking about in general. Nigga, them Asian people don't want you watering down their culture with your nigga seed.
It's the same though.
And guess what? That's book. He say don't mingle your set apart seed with these people. He say why would you give your fountain to another people? That's book. And man, they did it back then. The purpose is that if you're gonna marry somebody outside your race, he at least need to be on the word. Because if you marry somebody who ain't, guess what? You're gonna marry a Japanese woman, you'll be at the Buddhist temple. You'll be around here talking about yin and yang. Go get you an Indian woman, and you'll be around here talking about Krishna. You go get you a white woman, you'll be around here doing yoga and God knows what else. Around here at the Christmas party talking about I don't believe in Christmas. Let me get a kiss under the mistletoe, baby. Yes, ma'am.
Eggnog, please.
Eggnog, please. I'm your secret Santa. What you got me?
But
Beyonce.
Shut up. We finished the chapter, man. I'm just being honest because the book tell you that. The book ain't never tell you couldn't marry a person because of their race. He say don't marry them because they'll cause you to not follow me and you'll serve their gods. And that's why they hate you, because your God is not like their God. Their gods is nothing. What am I marrying a Japanese woman for? She around here sitting here worshiping a butt-naked man. I gotta come in the house and look at this butt-naked fat nigga in my house every day. Man, I ain't on that, man. I hope you don't get this fat nigga. I want to know what type of freaky stuff you want.
And then another thing, if that's the name, don't get me wrong, I say it too. I say nigga all the time, but it's almost like if that's the name that they gave us, why are you still flaunting it? I do it, but why? Man,
that just guess what? Because number one, I ain't a nigga, so they can say whatever they want to say. I'm a Yahudi. I don't care. You call me a nigga. If you call me a listen to me. If you call me a nigga, all you did was tell me the book is true, because he said that we would be a byword and a proverb. So all you did is just solidify that Yahuwah is Alahym and the creator of heaven and earth. That's all you did. I'm gonna say pray the Lamb. You nigga, pray the Lamb. You going to hell in the end of the day though. Pray the Lamb. Pray the Lamb. You nigga, pray the Lamb. Oh, because I'm confident in who I am and who my God is. That don't bother me. Because guess what, right? You call me a nigga. Nigga how, nigga who, nigga where? I don't live like a nigga. I used to. You know what I mean? That junk don't bother me. But guess what? I mean, they did that there because they tried to make you feel like you was less than a person by calling you that. But at the end of the day, the actual definition of it is an ignorant person. And last time I checked, boy, white people probably the ultimate nigga on the face of the planet.
That's what nigga and negro is. Negro. That's what it was. If somebody call you nigger, then, but a nigga can be anybody. But a negro. Somebody say negro, you be like, who you call you?
A negro?
That's just black and Spanish.
Come on. Hey, that's a color, mean black. Well, you might want to study Spanish a little bit harder. I failed Spanish class 3 times. I knew that. And for clarification, I failed because I slept throughout the whole class. I did not give a concerted effort to pass.
I don't know which one worked.
What? And I didn't care. I'm like, what am I learning Spanish for? I ain't finna talk Spanish to nobody. I'm gonna walk around here talking about que pasa to who? Everybody I know black. Kept about learning no Spanish. Yeah, I know this here. I used to butt class, go smoke me a joint or a black. I'm not sitting in here. Now, I was in high school then. Shoot, Miss Del Toro.
With Red Justin Miller and blah 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 for Christmas again this year, and I'll cheese this year. I'll send my buddy from Christmas.
Hey, I'm telling you though, but I'll be honest with you, man. Like I told you, man, they hate you because of your. Guess what, right? If I walk up on a white person and tell them your God is false and destroy their idols, you think they gonna like you after that?
They gonna try to arrest you.
They gonna try to what?
They gonna try to.
I thought that nigga said rape. Yeah, arrest.
They gonna try to arrest you, or say you crazy, or say something's wrong with you. That's what they do.
But guess what though? But guess what? Even if I'm talking about destroying their idol with the word, they're going to have a hatred towards you because everything that they put their trust in, you just destroyed it. You understand what I'm telling you? That's why people hate the word and the people who preach it, because the word is going to condemn what you're doing. And they can't take that wrath out on Yah, so they take it out on you. When I told you to read Psalms 83, it's because all those nations hated you because they knew that Yahuwah chose you. And those who are higher up amongst these nations of people, they know that you are the people in this book. And some things are just in their genetic DNA to where they have a disliking for you because of who your God is, and they don't even know why they have it. Just like in some people, just like it said in Amos, that are called out of these nations and will cleave unto you because y'all put that in their heart. But come on, we in verse 33.
33.
We're actually verse 34. 2 Chronicles 20 and 34.
Now the rest of the acts of Jehoshaphat, first and last, behold, they are written in the book of Yehu, the son of Hananiah.
You see, Yehu got a book. You don't see nigga talking about where Yehu book at. Go ahead.
It says, who is mentioned in the book of the kings of Yasharal.
Which one we started talking about last night, which most I will next week. We'll get into him a little bit more deeper. Because Yehu was a king. Because what we was going to get into, but we got off a little bit, was the massacre of the Baal worshippers. How many of y'all familiar with the massacre of the Baal worshippers?
I quite enjoy it.
I would probably wait. You wiped out there, son. You wiped out. I'll probably wait y'all will until when we all in person to deal with the massacre of the Baal worshippers. I ain't gonna do that Wednesday because Wednesday ain't gonna give enough time to deal with the massacre of the Baal worshippers. You need to understand the significance of the massacre of the Baal worshippers. Because you got to understand the significance that he set a certain amount of men aside that did not participate in that Baal worship. And he murdered. I'm talking about Yehu murdered them boy nasty too. Boy, I'm talking about boy they murdered. I'm talking about, and they shot. He ran some cold game on him, take him out too. Cold game on him too. You say everybody here? Everybody? Okay, cool. Don't let nobody get out the door. And see, when people read that in the book, they be like, what type of God would do this? Because they got a false idea who this man is. This man don't play. This man don't play. I'm telling you, man, he is very loving. He's very merciful. He's very kind, very generous, very gentle. At the same time, don't test him. Same time, don't test him. Don't play with him. You know what I'm saying? And people like to play with him because they take that loving kindness, that mercy, that gentleness, and that mercifulness for granted as if he owes it to them.
I just wonder how the world would be if God would give everybody free will.
Everybody do God free. You can do what you want to do.
I wonder how the world would be if he didn't give it.
He didn't want it like that. He wanted you to serve him out of your own heart and your own volition.
I wonder how it would be.
You have a whole bunch of people doing something they didn't want to do and resent the man and probably eventually buck over time.
Yeah. I mean, that's what really they did.
And they still doing that anyway.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
That ain't no.
Man, Yah, that's why I told you. That's why he does. When people say you're trying to force your beliefs on me, Yah has never done that. You know what I'm saying? He don't tell you, get this person till they believe what you saying. He say, shoot, tell him. And if that nigga don't want to hear it, well, shoot, tell somebody else then. Leave that nigga right where you found him at. That's how he operates. See, everybody think he's just going to beg and plead for you to do right. He feel like this here. That nigga don't want to hear. Leave that nigga where he at. Screw him. That's how he feel. That's book. Like, that's literally in the book. That's how he feels. Leave that nigga where you found him at. Matter of fact, Paul told him, he said, since y'all don't want to hear, I'm going to go to the Gentiles and they going to hear. He ain't sit back and say, I'm going to keep talking to y'all and talking to y'all and talking to y'all. Well, screw it then. I ain't telling you nothing no more. You don't want it. What type of sense does it make to keep trying to get some? That's like begging a woman to be with you who don't want to be with you. You make yourself look like a sucker.
But you, yeah, that's true too. Yeah. Now, and then, but something I want to say, that's why, you know, that's why I said biblical works is dead, because I said that, you know how the white people and like other races say how we slow, retarded, and all of that, but actions prove to show otherwise. That's why we got all these people that are not in like higher places who done and did that. So that's why.
Well, they pick and choose who the black people they gonna let it be in higher place. You gotta understand, son. When a people, and you can go throughout the whole history of mankind, not just with black people, you don't allow a people you have in subjugation to become equal with you. That's why the Egyptians went to wanting to murk us, because they say they're gonna rise up and be greater than us and join to our enemies. I don't want you to be equal with me. That's not why I have you here. That defeats the purpose. America was made for white people, by white people. You were never included. When they wrote the Star Spangled Banner, you weren't included. When they wrote the Bill of Rights, you weren't included. When they wrote the Constitution, you were not included. They weren't thinking about you. You know how we know this? Because they had to make a 14th Amendment declaring you to be a citizen and free you from being a slave. So you were never included. You were never included. They had to give you a Civil Rights Voting Act that they got to renew every certain amount of years. You were never included. You were never included. You got to wrap that around your brain. This is not your home. These people don't care about you. And the minute your usefulness is done, they will exterminate you. Are you familiar with the King Alfred plan? Are you familiar with that?
With the King who?
Alfred plan. Alfred plan. Alfred, like the butler from Batman? No. This came out in the 1950s and they renamed it Rex 84 in 1984 when Ronald Reagan was president, where they have a plan where they feel like they can exterminate all black people in 8 hours. And this is government documents, not no conspiracy theory. You can go to the Library of Congress and pull this up for yourself.
They can destroy us all.
Their plan in the King Alfred plan is to exterminate all black people in 8 hours. And we ain't talking about screw a conspiracy theory, screw a YouTube video, nigga, go to the Library of Congress. Because that's where you can find it at.
Well, you know, back in the day, they used to put the strongest male slave with the
all right, then hold that thought. We got 3 verses. Hold that thought. Just hold the thought. Hold the thought. Verse 35. I only got 3 verses, man. Just hold the thought.
It said, after this did Jehoshaphat, king of Yehuda, join himself to Ahaziah, the king of Yasharal.
Then we read about Ahaziah last night and how wicked he was. Now who was the other? Now he joined himself to Ahab, and look what he did. He turned around and did it again. And you know why he did it? Because he's our brother. Flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. When he supposed to sat back and look at you wicked, I ain't fooling with you. Go ahead.
It says he joined with Ahaziah, king of Yasharal, who did very wickedly. And he joined himself with him to make ships to go to Tarshish. And they made ships in Eglon.
So he decided to make ships with him. And what the end result of it was?
And Eleazar, the son of Dodava, of Mirshah, prophesied against Jehoshaphat, saying, because thou hast joined thyself with Ahaziah, Yahuwah had broken thy works, and the ships were broken that they were not able to.
So you know what ended up happening? Because he joined himself with a transgressor, his work got destroyed. And Yah had to let him know, since you joined yourself with this wicked person, then your works are not going to prosper. So that's something that you have to realize and understand. That if you doing right in the eyesight of Yah, and you join yourself to a wicked person, nothing that you do is going to prosper. It's not going to prosper. Praise Yah for the word, man. We start right here.